All right. All right. And we are live. Happy 2019 and welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 93. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we're back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm extremely excited about our special guests, and we've got Microsoft's next generation approach, the state of Activision-Blizzard, and the Mad Box console to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce two lords who not only raise the bar with extremely high quality content in both their respective genres, but also provide one of the most unique podcast experiences, combining outstanding online journalism in addition to extremely informative yet balanced perspective in all of YouTube. Introducing the dynamic duo and co-host of the Xbox 2 podcast, the one lord who demands crafting and survival mechanics in every genre of gaming, and the other lord whose addiction to PUBG chicken dinners will one day surpass his million gamer score. Germany and Chi-Town have arrived, and for the first time, making their debut into the realm of the lords together. The man with the million, Lord Randall Thor, and Windows Central, Lords Jez Corden. How are you doing, Xbox 2?
Jez, I'll throw this one to you since I usually introduce us.
You're so good at intros.
He's the best.
You could teach Rand a thing.
You definitely could teach me some things. I listen to Cognito, and I'm just not that good, dude. You know, he's got it down pat.
We're like the poor man's podcast.
Oh,
this is the premium podcast right now.
Oh man, absolute pleasure to have both of you lords in your respective realms here. Had to show you the proper respect, man. How are you two dudes doing? Like, it's just good to have both of you, man. How both of you doing?
I mean, I'll go first. I love this podcast. It's one of my favorites.
Thank you, sir.
I've been waiting for you to come and be like, Rand, I need you on again. On again. And then to find out that my co-host with the most, right? Jez was going to be on too. I'm like, what?
Yes,
it's pretty great because me and Jez haven't podcasted since what, Christmas or before Christmas?
Yes.
Schedules have been too hectic, so we Jez is a busy person to get nailed down sometimes, right?
Yeah.
He's very important. Writing all these great articles. He's got people he talks to, and he'll hit me up like, I can't do it today, and I got an interview I'm conducting with Phil Spencer, and I'm like, it's cool, Jez, we'll do it tomorrow.
Is that code word for Jez has gotten Hollywood on you? Is that code word?
Hollywood won't let me anywhere near Phil Spencer. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, absolute pleasure, man. And Jez, how you doing, man? Like I said, I know you're a hard man to nail down sometimes, as Rand said, but happy to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Sundays are pretty good for me. Last week was crazy because, it's a new year, all the meetings about content strategy, changes, hires, and all that sort of stuff. Hired more gaming staff, planning to grow the site this year.
Nice.
Loads of interesting plans in that respect. So, look out for that.
Nice.
Other than that, just having a nice, relaxing gaming weekend.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. And full disclosure, the Xbox 2 is one of my very favorite podcasts. Listen to you guys a lot. I do a lot of long drives, and I love the banter, love the energy. Two of the best in the game, man. And we're going to have some fun today. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Let's do it, man. And we have the four horsemen of gaming, those original lords of the realm here at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, and the howl of the young wolf. My man, Lord Addict, how you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. Definitely getting to just as a full disclosure, my lazy bum couldn't figure out a topic, so I picked it. LordCognito got me a topic. Okay, so you guys are about to hear this because I was actually reading that this morning. I was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
I figured you might like it. It suited you. Glad that are you adjusting to the new time, sir? How are you doing with that?
I mean, regardless.
Damn.
Regardless,
that didn't sound good.
Regardless what time we go live or anything, I probably haven't slept for more than 4 hours. Exactly. It's like the more leeway I get, and the better time frame. I'm like, what can I get away with?
Yeah, you can't give him leeway. It's gonna be more and more time. He's the inch take a mile. Oh God,
I'm in an inch run a football field kind of person.
No. What were you playing last night?
I played Overwatch till like almost 3 a.m.
Jesus, back on that Overwatch. All right,
you back on that?
I got you. Shout out to
Oh,
Lord
I'm
Jerry.
gonna install Overwatch right now just because you said that.
It's worse because I'm back on PUBG like nobody's business.
Yeah, I
Yo.
started playing that.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was on it. Oh my God!
New map?
I was going to play it yesterday. Actually, I downloaded the test server because like apparently the new map's on there or something.
Mhm.
And like I went through all the trouble to download it. Went through all the trouble, and then John jumps. I want to play Overwatch. Yeah, sure. Let's go play Overwatch.
That new map is tight, man. I really like that new map, and even PUBG, the eyesore that is that game, it looks godly on this LG OLED. Oh my lord, everything's so I can see everything picture perfect.
Welcome,
you
Rand.
trying to say that? Hold on, Ray. Are you trying to say that clear 4K makes you a better gamer?
Yes.
There is yes, 4K makes an incredible difference.
See? I told you, Rand.
Like it's ridiculous. I went from a 40-inch 4K to a 55-inch LD OLED, and I can see everything on the battlefield from dudes across the map. I'm like, I see a dude all the way over there at 330. I wouldn't be able to. It'd be blurry on my other TV. Wow. This thing, it's nice, clear, bright with the HDR10. Sea of Thieves is like the best looking game I've ever seen.
This man is enjoying Sea of Thieves with so much passion now.
I ain't gonna play it. I'll just look at it for 10 minutes and turn it off.
Welcome to the premium experience, sir. Welcome.
Nice. That's what's up. And of course, we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sastradamus, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati and Lord Patreon of the Iron Bank, my man, Lord Sovereign. How you doing, sir?
Chilling, man. Happy New Year, everybody. What's going on?
Yeah, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Ready to go, man. Like Res Evil was like 2.5 weeks away, dude. 3 weeks away. That's crazy. That is absolutely bananas. And
I still haven't played.
I feel you, man. 2 weeks, you getting ready for that res?
Yeah, ready for that, man. You know what? And addict appreciate this. I tried. I've watched 2 breakdown videos of the story of Kingdom Hearts to give it a shot. Dude.
You got what's sad is that story is so complicated. You have to pick the right ones to watch.
Yeah, was the video an hour long?
The video was 30 minutes. I saw the Eurogamer one and I saw one other one. I think it was an IGN one. And the Eurogamer one is about a half hour long. Dude, like, I get it, but I'm like, why? Why does it need to be this convoluted? It's
not that it's complicated. It's that they did wrong ordering when it came to making the games. And so, like, if the very first one is technically like the third one,
yeah. And then the thing about it is, like, they don't give you necessarily the impression that that you have to play all of these, but you do if you really want to get this.
Like, if you didn't play the very last one for the 3DS, the 3 will make no sense to you at all.
Jesus.
Yep.
So I tried.
You tried. You gave it a college try. But that's pretty much what you've been playing.
Oh, you gonna buy it again?
No, well, I mean, Kai Batsu's getting this. I'll have it.
That's my game sharing partner.
That is the game sharing partner is getting it. That's that answer.
People don't understand this fan base, man. You're going to at the end of this month. Like, you're gonna be on Twitter and be like, oh, he liked Kingdom Hearts? What the hell? Like,
we gonna see, man. So that's been pretty much it.
Yeah, man. I haven't done much gaming, especially the last week and a half. The first week I was off, I got back into the Spider-Man. So I did the first 2 DLCs. I haven't started Silver Lining yet.
Not according to Lord Fonzarelli. He was coming at you, bro.
Oh, well, tell him to at me when he's on so I can go at him. Because I still ain't play his Bushes game.
He said them MJ missions, side missions is in the bush.
They are the worst. They are the worst.
Incredibly subpar compared to the main game.
Silver Linings. I heard Silver Linings is great. The Turf Wars was so, but the story arc throughout was very good. I think
it's okay. Rand, to be honest with you, that content, if put in the game and not DLC, it wouldn't have really made sense. So the way they put it inside, they shouldn't have broke it up, made it one big DLC. I don't understand, but they broke it up to keep people playing for months on end. It's 2 hours, each one maybe an hour and a half. It's just a nice side mission. It's not no big DLC like you get with other games. It's just a nice little side mission. But they're pretty good.
Fair enough. So Spider-Man, that was it. That wrapped your holiday, Lord Sir?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Real quick on the Patreon stuff. We will go back to the Patreon stuff next week, guys. We have two guests today, so I want to make sure that they get their just due. So we'll do Patreon next week.
No doubt. Sounds good, sir. And of course, we have the Incredible Hulk of this, aka the Excess Gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions, demands nothing less than that premium experience, and is the leader of the Fraud Alert movement. Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing incredibly well right now because I got some sleep. Look, guys. I still got that little bag under that. You can see that right there. But Cognito called me. I was like, I'm up, bro. Don't worry about it.
At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's suiting you better?
It doesn't matter. Cognito's a worry wart. He will call you. I've noticed in the chat, he put it up at 12. I'm like, bro, this is right here. He's not playing. All right, so for you frauds out there.
Who's getting it?
I am sick and tired of this red versus blue crap. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're on my friends list and you don't want to get blocked, deleted, pushed back into the bushes, stop adding me into that.
The siren is out early in 2019. Damn.
Yo,
Are we talking PlayStation versus Xbox here?
Like, Ren, it's ignorant to the point. It's broke versus rich. That's what it actually is. I've realized it. When you have everything, it is none of that. Oh, they over there. No, I got it. So I'm over there with them. So when you can't afford something, then you try to defend your choice because you want your choice to win.
Yeah.
What I would say is take all that energy, right? Go mow somebody's lawn so you can get enough money.
Wow.
So you can go purchase another system. I don't care if you hate the system. Listen, 2019, you can't hate on a system you don't have. If you don't have it, you can't talk about it.
Those are the new rules? That's
the new rules for 2019. If you don't have the system, you can't talk about it. You can't say anything about it. And another thing, if you're a PlayStation dude or an Xbox dude and you don't have an X or a Pro, I really don't want to hear your opinions because you're not getting the most out of your system. I really don't want to hear your opinions.
Wait, we mid-generation refresh shaming?
That's right. If you ain't refresh, this is the year you better refresh. Refresh your face. Refresh your face.
So King, riddle me this. 2020. If you don't got that Anaconda, you want to hear their opinions if they got that Lockhart?
I don't want to hear about y'all.
They got that. If they go for that Lockhart, not that Anaconda, don't come talk to you is what you're saying.
No, don't please. If you don't got that hard body, I don't want to hear that. If you not rocking the Anaconda hard body, I don't want to hear that. If you rocking the what is that? The mini GoPro? What is that? I don't.
Keep in mind, this is the man that calls it the Xbox One S, the Xbox Simple.
It's simple. You got the simple version, and don't have the Bushes edition. The Bushes edition. When you try to fly in PUBG and they don't have a floor, I don't want to talk to you, bro. Like, get off my line. Get out of here.
Oh, well, look. So the 2019's new resolution is start mowing them lawns and get your game up. That's
you know what? Use your energy. Stop with your fingers. I don't care what you're going to do. Go get a job because you got extra time on your hands.
Because you got Twitter too much.
Yeah, make some more money. Buy some more experience things. Don't lock yourself into these imaginary boxes. Because the companies don't really want y'all to be in these boxes. Actually, the company wants you to go out and purchase competition and stuff like that. So you will buy multiple games. I've noticed I've done this stupid crap. I brought the same game on both systems just to see which one looks better. Let me see, like, is the Pro version better? Oh, that X is running this way. Oh, that Pro done got him here. So listen. Step your money game up so this way y'all can actually have intelligent conversations on Twitter opposed to this muddy stuff, and stop atting me in it. Just get me off of there. I'm not with you guys.
Deaf Singer, we see you in the chat.
I've been playing this Tomb Raider. See, this is how far back. Oh, shout out to Microsoft and Discover Card.
What's up?
You guys are the greatest. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the hard work that y'all do to get me these free games I get every month. Let me tell y'all how to do it. Very simple. Get a Discover card. Pay everything with it. You're going to get buyback dollars. Now, if you purchase a gift card with their affiliates, then you get an extra $5. So I took $40 out of my affiliate money. Got a gift card for GameStop. They gave me $45. When you go to GameStop, they have Microsoft gift package with different, like a 15, 15, and 15. That's there. And then you have a $5 bonus. They give you a $5 bonus gift card when you buy the package. So in turn, my $40 turned into $50, and I used that to purchase Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Nice. Microsoft had the sale of 50% off of the big package, the $100 package. They had it for $50, both of them. That's with the DLC and everything. So I purchased both of them. And thank you, Microsoft and Discover Card. Listen, those are easy game hacks for y'all to do. If you're paying your bills, get a card that gives you money back and with affiliates that you actually go to, so you can finance your video games, your hobbies without using your dollars.
All right, Lord King getting the credit lesson today.
Bro, I haven't brought a game in a long time.
No doubt. Of course, we have the Lord of the cooperative experience, the gaming ninja himself, the Shinobi, LordCognito. Spreading that realness in the realm of the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So for me, it's been...
Did you add the cooperative experience?
Yeah, you like that one. That's me, though. That's me.
But like, my question is,
What's up?
Is it ethical for you to add to your own interest?
Yes. It's very egotistical. It's very self-praising. I like it. Yeah, man, I've been on my finishing up my PC Master Race grind. As you know, I got the new beast rig. Shout out to Ebontis for hooking me up. So yeah,
wait, you're not playing Destiny on the PC, are you?
Oh man, he's coming for me early.
Wait, hold on 1 second. So you went through all that bull on the Xbox One, and then you're doing it all again on the PC?
Man, that's 60 frames uncapped, bro. It is so
You know what the sad thing is, Fred? I'm going over there.
Yo, Rand, listen, it's the Destiny player. It's not about anything else. It's just Destiny players. This is what they do. They love torture.
Are you saying that there's something mentally wrong with this?
Yes, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm directly saying this.
Listen, Red can't say that to me. He just finished playing Sea of Thieves.
10 minutes, dude. What do you mean?
Red, you still playing PUBG, man? I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and the reason I'm playing PUBG is because I'm waiting for all the games to come out.
You waiting for the rest of the maps to come out?
I didn't play PUBG from September until the end of November because I had all those other greatness to play.
Cognito is lying to you guys. I'm telling you now what Cognito is doing on that side of the fence. He's playing with the elite of the elite.
I'm a little bougie.
No, he's not a little bougie. Cognito has stepped up his gaming class. His friends list is different now.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
He's just repping all of Mike Ibarra's like tweets.
Shout out to Mike Ibarra.
Thank you. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Lord Xbox Quick runs a tight ship. I like how they move.
Lord Cognito did tell me that Lord Mike Ibarra definitely dragged him through a raid. So
yo, let me tell you, full disclosure, man, they are beasts, man. They run a tight ship.
They are that defined edition. Sit in the corner and look pretty.
The chat is coming for me right now. Punch said, "Cognito, you traitor! How could you?"
He said he forsaken his own
Xbox clan. Oh man,
don't worry, guys. I'm still there. The hell with him. Let's do it.
I'm about to leave too. I'm sorry.
That's right, Attic. Come over here, man. Yo,
it wasn't like he was really there anyway. Shut up.
It wasn't. I had Destiny uninstalled for a minute. But
shout out to Wilhelm Scream. Shout out to Ebontis. Shout out to Mike Ibarra. It's been a lot of fun, man. But I've been doing that. I've been doing the XCOM tactical pack as well. Man, Jez, have you tried it? You're an XCOM guy. Jez, have you tried that XCOM tactical pack yet?
I haven't. Is that's only on PC, right?
Yes.
I don't think they've released it.
I can't.
Woo!
I can't get back in that life, man.
Let me
I
tell
had
you.
a real big XCOM problem last year that I had to have like, I had to go to
2K.
rehab for it and stuff. Like
The glitches and stuff. But that was on console. But what I was gonna say is though,
just went Hollywood.
what I was gonna say though, like
next thing you know, he's gonna be saying "glorious" all the time. He's gonna be saying,
I really don't feel like hearing him talk.
I'm almost done.
Guy, let's get on to our
guest. Gonna start saying Lord Gaben. I really think this PC thing's a disease, man.
He just went so far left. He don't even play like that, but he's on PC playing. Now let's get to the next guy.
Damn. I'll wrap up shortly. So pretty much, Lord Jez, it's really cool. It's the kind of like a prequel, and you get the guy that gives the commander the missions inside the base. It's like a
mean I've got to buy XCOM on PC now.
Yes, well. It's amazing, bro. It's like narratively driven when you're on the map, and he's like telling the story pre XCOM 2, how like the aliens took over. Dude, like it's so good. Like if you for the hardcore XCOM fan, and they even have the old locales from like what is it, Enemy Unknown, all those old maps are kind of in it as well. It's really cool. So shout out to that. I've been doing that. A little bit of Messenger on the Switch, and I started below on the Xbox One. I started that yesterday, so I'm just getting my feelings.
Oh, you back on the regular system?
Yes, I came. I descended down from the heavens.
Wait. Is it play anywhere? Because you might go anywhere.
Well, I'm I can't with you. You disrespectful. You disrespectful.
You look on the box. Is it play anywhere?
I will say this. I'm counting down the days for Game Pass to come to PC. I will say that. Woo. But anyway,
technically, it's already on PC.
Exactly.
Technically it is. You are correct.
The whole Game Pass on PC thing is like.
Oh wait, hold on.
It is on Game.
To invest in.
It is on PC, but I feel like it's mainly just the play anywhere that's beneficial.
Oh yeah,
like Game Pass itself isn't on PC.
So yo, first of all, salute Lord Cedric AH, our first super chat of 2019. He says, shout out to all the lords on the panel. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated for the follow super chat. So yeah, man, that's pretty much been it for me. Also,
I got a question for you, Cognito.
Yo, go for it,
bro. So, are you a gamer, or should we just call you a Destiny player?
I am a gamer.
I'm loving Rand right now.
Kill me. I am a gamer as much as you're a PUBG player.
Did he just go at him like that?
He just didn't answer the question. Is what he did.
He just deflected the whole question.
Notice how Cognito dodged the question.
But then I'll just say back to Cognito. I beat Spider-Man. I beat Tomb Raider. I beat Red Dead. I beat Battlefield 5.
No, you beat Red Dead.
I feel
bad for you, man.
Damn. I mean, I beat everything. So I did all that and played PUBG.
Hey, you said you stopped playing PUBG.
I did play those games. So here's the thing. My viewpoint on PUBG.
Have time to play all these games.
That's what I said, Jez.
My viewpoint on PUBG, and I've said this on the Xbox too, is PUBG is like that filler. It's that McDonald's burger that you have in between those 5-star meals, the lobsters, those steaks.
Tell them about that.
You get that Spider-Man, and it's a 5-star steak, right? And you savor it, and you eat it, right? You play that Tomb Raider, and it's a lobster. You got time for McDonald's hamburgers, right? You eat all the food, and all that's left is McDonald's hamburgers.
So hey, since we're doing all this analogy to food, what's Destiny? What kind of food is Destiny?
Destiny is like, you know what Destiny is? It's like ramen noodles, like
it's like cup soup.
I love ramen noodles.
I know this man did not just say it's like ramen noodles.
It's not good ramen noodles.
Shout out to Lord Mods, man. Mods Gaming in the chat with a $10 super chat.
Big shout out to Mods.
It's turning into the PC Master Race podcast.
I don't know, like he's got a point there. If the host starts turning into a PC Master dude, like does that mean is it like a disease? Is it going to spread to us? We are in a Facebook chat. So
listen. You see what y'all don't know about Cognito? I'm gonna put you on page, right? It's new tech. He's a tech whore. So what happens is it's new, it's fun, it's fresh, it's exciting. He's gonna do this right now till the wheels run dry.
Yep.
And the new systems come out,
Yep.
Cognito will throw that PC right in the bushes.
You know it, because once Anaconda come, the only thing holding back the console is the CPU. So once Anaconda come, I'm good.
and this is really a first time for Cognito. He's never been a PC. He's never been a PC guy ever.
Never. I've avoided PC like the plague for the last 10 years. So this is a whole new world for me that I've purposely remained ignorant to, Rand.
Wait until next year when his video card is not in circulation anymore and he has to upgrade the video card for the $600-700 and download the new driver. That's when he's gonna jump off
do the same thing you're doing about this 4K TV. I'm gonna wait for that sale, fam.
Watch.
Fair enough. But anyway, thanks, Rand, for coming at me and disrespecting my game.
It's all love, man. I just had to say that because, like,
that was good. It was good.
You know me. Like, I love Bungie. They're my favorite. They were my favorite developer. Halo's my favorite franchise, and Destiny is the biggest disappointment of this entire generation.
The disrespect.
I just want to say something. I'm disappointed in you, King. Like, I expect different from you. Why ain't you attacking Rand over him coming against you?
Listen, the man is hurt. The man is hurt that Bungie did him dirty. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna go at Rand because I want to. I was gonna wear my PUBG hat. Like when he was like he on PUBG, I was like, yo, bro, I just downloaded it again. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And Monkey and them was playing Destiny. I did all my Destiny stuff. I did it my Iron Man. I was like, I'm out of here, guys. They was like, where you going? PUBG. And then I got over there by myself solo. Shout out to 108 Dragon TV.
Oh yeah, shout out to man. Facts.
No, this thing right now, and I got a theory. The game was piss poor and frame rate and stuff like that, graphics and stuff.
And at least my game runs smooth, Rand.
Oh my god.
Okay, this is true. But I mean, we went through the growing pains. When it came out of the preview thing, it's running fantastic, right? But as soon as it launches on PlayStation, this game is leaps and miles better than after it was released.
Yeah,
Did they take all the resources?
They got a lot of things that they've added. I've seen. No, they're doing a good job. As long as they keep supporting it, man. That's
I think they took all their resources to get the PlayStation joint ready. Let the Xbox suffer for a little bit so we can just implement that stuff later. And then now all of a sudden the game, I swear, is night and day.
I will say one thing. I played PUBG and I finally played at Blackout. I gotta say, like, PUBG is still better than Blackout.
That Blackout stuff is garbage.
I'm about to try. I want to try it though. I haven't tried it. I heard it was good though.
Blackout is Call of Duty. If you don't like Call of Duty, you don't like Blackout. That's me. Like, I played it. Like, it's Call of Duty. I don't
Blackout. I feel like the difference is that the last 10 to 15 people is way more intense on PUBG than ever on Blackout.
Really?
It could be
seconds on Blackout, like in the the main version.
It could be worse, Cognito. You could be a Fortnite player.
Oh, that's true. I'm not about that life.
Hey, I bet you at least 10 people in this chat's a Fortnite player. Okay,
until he sees it on PC.
Anyway, let's get into the show, man. So now that we got into what the Lords have been playing, I want to start off with the Lords of the Xbox 2. And being that both Lord Rand and Lord Jez have already been giving the royal treatment, please check out ILP number 28 and ILP number 60, respectively, with each having some great video game system history. I want to do a different approach with you two. So, Lord Rand, we'll start with you first. Let's do the Xbox 2 origin story.
Ooh, the origin story, huh?
Beginning, prologue. Like, you being the man with the million gamer score and outstanding YouTube success, like, how did this dynamic duo come together?
Rand, I hope you can remember because I can't.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember how when me and Jez first started talking, but there was a point where we would actually get in a Skype call and have conversations.
All these stories begin with Skype?
Because that's the way Jez wanted to.
No, it's not just you. Like, I remember, like, all the Weapon Wheel origin stories gain on Skype.
Well, Skype was what the hell, man?
It'd be like, I'd have this information, and I'd be like, Jez, I got to tell you this, but I can't tell you it in text, right? And Jez would be like, okay. And then I get in Skype, and I tell him, or he'd have something, and we just have this, like, gaming discussion. And we're like, you know what? I think it was Jez. Jez said, we have these like really cool discussions, but nobody's ever going to hear it besides us. Like, yeah, that's true. He's like, maybe we should do a podcast. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds pretty good.
Oh
and
yeah, because I was doing a podcast with someone on Windows Central at the time, but it was really, really hard for us to line up our schedule. So we were like missing weeks and weeks at a time. Rand is a bit more flexible and accommodating, so
yeah.
Okay. He went with you because you're easy.
No, this is dope, man. So pretty much
he's more flexible.
But here's the thing. So now you guys,
flexible.
you guys. I'm dead. You're full. Jez, you're full. So like, you guys started the conversation because obviously you've been friends prior, or was it like you met at E3? Like
we did meet at E3.
Okay, so was that prior to the podcast decision or after the podcast decision?
When did we start the podcast? We started the podcast right before.
No, we met at E3 before we did the podcast because I forgot that we met at E3 and we talked about that on the show.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because I think we started the podcast right before, like a month before Microsoft and Digital Foundry revealed the specs for Scorpio. So it was like March of 2017.
Okay,
was when we did the show. But I had met Jez at E3 2016. I remember going to a event on a Monday night right after the press conference, and Jez was the first one in line.
So someone at Microsoft moved me to the front of the line.
Oh, you got that VIP treatment, Jez.
It was like really embarrassing.
And then, and then like I guess we just continued to talk, and then Jez we'd talk in Skype when we have some juicy nuggets of info to share. Which a lot of it turned out to be true. Some of them didn't, but that's how it is with some of these things. And then it was like, yeah, these conversations are great. Let's do a podcast. And it was like, all right, cool. So it's like, it was Wednesdays and it was Thursdays. Now it's just pretty much whatever day. Cause I
got you.
Jez's schedule's hectic. Sometimes, like I'm busy or whatever. So it's just like, yeah, it could be Wednesday, might be Thursday. Who knows? It could even be Friday.
I got you. Now the name
podcast as well, haven't we?
Yeah, you guys done a weekend. I remember one time tuning in and seeing like a pop. You guys pop up on a Saturday or something weird like that once in a while.
Yeah,
that's cool. So the name now, like, who came up with the name? Because I thought the name was cool, simple and cool.
That was Stick Figure.
Stick Figure.
Yeah. First show, we kind of just like anybody got any cool names? And he said the Xbox 2, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And like if Microsoft does decide to name the next Xbox 2, I expect royalty checks. I trademarked the name.
I wonder if they take legal action against y'all.
Nah, they're gonna pay him off.
Nah, they won't.
Give me the name.
It's Keep and Desist.
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. No, but I think it's actually pretty cool, man. It's funny because you say that because obviously me and Ebontis, we do the Destiny podcast and we're in the midst of a name change. So it's kind of cool because I actually feel like we kind of pattern ourselves. We're like the Destiny version of the Xbox 2, so to speak.
It's hard coming up with names, man.
Yeah, man.
I already got his name for his show. 2 guys, 1 ghost.
Oh my Lord. It is not that name. We will tell you.
Know why it's that name because if
I agree with
I'm not gonna tell y'all to go look this up, but 2 girls, 1 cup, right? So 2 guys, 1 ghost is definitely gonna ring, and they're gonna be like, "What? You got a part 2 to this?" And like, you're gonna get people that's just gonna view just off the strength. I'm telling you.
I feel like you're gonna have the other. And the people are like,
let them get some of that.
People are gonna be like, I am not clicking on this podcast.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat that says no. Thank
you. Link directly to Pornhub or something like that.
I'm gonna get us some Pornhub affiliate.
So why not? Like, because you already know, like, when the PlayStation got a hold of the porn industry, that's when the PlayStation took off. That's when Blu-ray took off. So hey, you never know. You might get that back by Pornhub.
Moving along.
I'm so confused right now.
Lord Jez, at Windows Central, your informational pieces, your blogging, reporting of breaking news on Microsoft, clearly one of the very best in gaming media. So I'm not going to say any names, of course. But in the current climate of gaming, it seems that some in your position and field might be threatened by the rise of the big YouTuber like Rand.
Threatened by me, Jez.
Yeah. So what allows you to coexist with what's this generation? In this generation may label as provocateurs.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I don't really care or think about it. I just like I do what I do. That as long as they pay me, I'll keep doing it.
No doubt.
I'm about
If
that.
not, then I'll move to something else. That's pretty much how I've lived life. I used to be an animator, as in a band. I have these fads where like I want to do something, I do it and I chase it. I was a web developer for a while, and I got bored of that, and I thought, I'll make a blog for a bit. I took this further than my other hobbies, so.
Okay. So what, but my question is like, what made, because again, like there's kind of like, I don't want to say there's a civil war going on, but there's definitely people in your field that I feel are threatened by guys like Rand who are pretty big.
There are two business models for blogs, right? One of them is effectively ad driven. Now the ad driven model is the one you're talking about that's struggling really. And when they're driven by ads, they're driven by clicks, they're driven by trying to get people onto their website, right? Windows Central is not an ad driven company. We have a storefront, we sell mobile phone accessories and stuff like that, and we sell software we resell software and stuff like that. So I'm really, really lucky and blessed to be in a position where I don't have to clickbait.
Nice.
And you'll never see a title on Windows Central that doesn't reflect the content of the article. We also focus a lot on guides and stuff like that, like how to do your networking on Xbox, stuff like that. And people come through Google. We're lucky to be more of a tech site than a game site, because it is, like you say, it is the gaming blogs, us, the ones that are sort of ones that people say are doing these shady tactics and stuff like that, outrage bait and clickbait and stuff like that. But I ain't really in that position as a tech writer, so I'm lucky. But I do think about YouTube as well, and a lot of people just want to digest content through YouTube, and sometimes I think maybe I should make YouTube videos, but at the same time I'm also really lazy, and writing is way easier. So.
Fair enough, man. I just love the dynamic, and I just love that you two are able to coexist because you represent both sides, and I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Because again,
that does kind of make their that podcast unique. There's not too many times you see someone in the media like that with a YouTuber doing a podcast.
That's what it's one of the best. And also, like Lord Addict said, it's like we affectionately like act as if you guys are like the fortune tellers of everything Xbox, right? So holding on to like some of the biggest leaks, the rumors way ahead of time.
Yeah,
so
Addict thinks I know everything about it.
Addict thinks we know everything. Yes,
everything.
Right. So how hard is it to hold on to this information, like in this clickbait culture? That's the first part of the question. The second part is like, has Microsoft ever really been pissed at you two for knowing something like
has Microsoft ever been pissed at me? Hello? Did you see the Crackdown video?
True. That part was more for Jez, but I know the second. But the first part is just like, how hard
every video Rand makes, probably like there's a good 40% chance someone's rolling up in my DMs.
I know that there are people at Xbox who really don't like me and don't like what we do, and that's fine. Okay. But like at the same time, it's like I'm competing with other leakers. I honestly don't like leaking stuff. I don't like spoiling surprises. If I can keep hold of something and not spoil like a big reveal at E3, I'll do it. But the thing is, like, I got competitors like Brad Sams
like
and Verge and stuff like that, and if I feel like there's a chance they're gonna leak something, like Anaconda and Brad tweeting, I'm gonna write an Xbox article today, and I was like, oh no, he knows.
It's like Jez got that. Jez just makes those articles just in case. So pull up. I'm gonna just leak it.
We do. We have things pre-written. We have things pre-written to publish in case we find out someone else is going to leak it. So
I have a question for you, Lord Jez. Has there ever been something that you wanted to leak, but then it got leaked? before you could do it?
Yeah, I think so. Randall probably remember better than me. My memory's really terrible.
There was something I remember you getting pissed about because you.
Brad scooped me on the discless.
Yeah.
And I started, and I DM'd Rand. I was like, shit. And so I was like, there ain't no way he's scooping me on Anaconda. So
no worries. Hold on, super chat right quick. Eternal should die. Question for Jez: have you ever considered Rand to be part of Windows Central and move the podcast to be part of Windows Central? Oh, he's trying to get Rand paid.
I haven't told him. I haven't told Rand this, but I've actually been trying to.
Ooh.
I haven't told Rand that because in case it doesn't fall through and I don't want Rand to be disappointed. But now he knows, so I'll fuck that up.
But
sorry.
Have you ever made a video that got people pissed? Yes. I made that Crackdown video back in 2017 on that stream that they did. You guys know which one I'm talking about, right?
I don't know. It was warranted. I was proud of you, bro. I was proud of you. It was honest.
I had a few people at Xbox hit me up and not appreciate that video, and then I had a bunch of people at Xbox say it needed to be said. But let's just say there was some people, powerful people, that did not appreciate that video at all. And I learned really quickly that sometimes it's about how you say something rather than like, you know what I mean? Like it's how you say something. Like, and I thought maybe I was a little bit, I called it an abortion of a stream and things like that. And the best choice of words, right?
I don't remember if it was you. Didn't you say like the whole Crackdown team unfollowed you on Twitter?
Yeah, they all did. They all did. And someone at Microsoft called me an amateur and an idiot. I replied back to him saying, "Well, if I may be an amateur, but so's your Crackdown marketing team."
Oh my God! He busted back.
So it's all good though. As for sitting on, like, I've sat on so much info that I've never said anything about. Like, for instance, I'll give you two examples.
Go for it.
The Anaconda Lockhart. I knew those two code names and what they were a week before Jez posted. And I could easily have made a video saying that, but I really value the people that give me tips that I would never do that at all, period. So I just sit on it and wait for somebody else like Jez or Brad Sams or somebody down the line to then say something, and then I'd be like, then I'll make a video.
Facts.
And
respect that, man.
In another situation, because Jez will actually corroborate this, I knew Digital Foundry was going to be checking out the X. Remember, Jez?
That was a big one.
That was a big one. I
didn't make a video about it. I waited until Jez to make it. What?
I leaked that.
Yeah,
you leaked it, but I knew. Remember, because we were talking in DMs, huh?
I'm trying
because you knew a part of the story.
He said, I'm trying to remember.
You knew a part of the story, and then I knew someone who knew the other part of the story. And once I told you that, we put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah,
and we were like, oh, and then
so there's so much that I just can never really remember anything.
Yeah, and plus I remember back in the day when the Scalebound game got canceled, Rand was tight about that. He was like, I was gonna make a video.
Jez and Tim talked me out of making that Scalebound's cancel video. I went to both of them.
Never forget that. That was
I went to both of them. And I said to Jez, I'm like, I think Scalebound's canceled. And Jez's first words to me, impossible. They'll never cancel Scalebound. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I have this guy who's like 100%. Everything he tells me turns out to be true. He says, like, there's major issues with the game and all these different things. And and him and Tim were like, dude, you sound like Alex Jones right now. And then literally like a week later, a week later, Jez gets the exclusive that it was canceled. Oh man!
When Rand told me that, I was like, "Nah, there ain't no way they'll cancel that." The PR fallout.
That question.
And to be fair, it has been terrible. The people still bring that up even now. But like, I started digging, and I was like, oh god, Rand's right.
No, that's the people that didn't play
now I
the game.
trust Rand. I trust him.
Well, you saw the game at E3. It didn't run particularly well, and I thought Crackdown ran better than how that game ran.
Yeah, it wasn't running. It didn't look too good back
No, it
then.
didn't.
But
I
nah,
Jez, how did you feel when you found out it was officially canceled? It's like I don't even want to talk to Rand right now.
I was really shocked, to be honest, because I didn't think they'd take the PR hit, but Phil just maybe the old Xbox wouldn't have taken the PR hit, but Phil was just like, now I don't know the full story behind all of why it was cancelled and stuff like that, but clearly they weren't happy with the way things were going, and rather than just let them string it along, they just cancelled it. And I think I was surprised. Brilliant. And I think in that we sort of got an insight into how Microsoft are going to do things when it comes to second party deals moving forward. Right?
Yeah, definitely surprised. That surprised a lot, man. That shook.
I was shocked, man.
Net, man, when that thing came out. So salute to Rand for holding on to that one. I mean,
it's not about views or money. Like, I value people's confidence in me and trust.
Dope.
So people can tell me something, and I'm not going to make a YouTube video about it because nothing's worth.
So listen, DM Rand all your secrets because he's not going to let them out.
Please, my DMs are open. You can DM me everything, and I won't say anything. I will make a video about it. And
what's funny is then he sells out after this is done. He's like, everyone has complete confidence, and they told me all the secrets. Let's make a video.
God forbid.
That's cool, man. I had to ask you too that question because I know you guys go through it. So, all right, Lord Rand.
Rand won't even tell me things.
Oh, wow.
That's how trustworthy Rand is.
What do you mean? I tell you stuff all the time. What are you talking about?
You don't tell me off the things.
I tell you.
I know
that's
you
why
don't.
he wants to get
I
you to work under him so he can command you to tell him all the information. Be careful, Rand.
I tell you.
Rand gives me the scraps.
I tell you everything that. Look, I don't know.
Jez is going in. I love it.
I agree that Rand actually secretly knows everything that's happening at Xbox. And
that's what I'm saying.
That's what Attic does. Attic is convinced.
I agree with Attic.
What's funny is almost every year Rand throw makes an E3 predictions. I commented it. I'm like, oh, you mean what's gonna happen at E3 video? I will say one thing. Crackdown still wasn't at E3 last year, right?
You were so happy he got one thing wrong.
I was so hyped. He was like, "It's not gonna be there." And then when it was random,
50% right.
He's got to throw red herrings in there. He's got to look a little bit bad.
Setting you up like you really don't understand.
Wasn't he behind closed doors?
Yeah.
No, it was there. Yeah,
it was there. It was there. Yeah,
it was there.
No, I think I said that.
And you said Halo wasn't gonna be there.
Well,
it wasn't.
Look, that's how you know I don't know everything.
No, I think I'm starting to think.
King Right. That's a double bluff. Rand knew.
Yeah, I think he's starting to trip people up. Like,
oh my god!
You do the real predictions. You're like, okay, now we're gonna put the bullshit in this.
All right, Red. So being that your debut at the round table was all the way back at ILP 28. Wow. So similar to Kid Smooth, you haven't been on since we've changed our format. So what I'm gonna need is Lord Rand's top 5 video game or franchises of all time.
Of all time.
Let's
doing this to me now?
Let's go.
All time. All right. All time. One Halo. That's easy.
Woo!
All time. Final Fantasy.
Okay.
2. Like not like Final Fantasy 2, but like Final Fantasy the first.
Also.
Okay, got you. Okay.
We're for just doing like strictly franchises.
What's your favorite Final Fantasy? I got to put you on the spot.
My favorite, the one I played the most is 7.
7.
Oh, you and Jez. That's why you and Jez are
friends.
A lot of people like 6 more than 7.
The one
they're wrong.
I'm gonna get hate for saying this.
9.
I think my favorite's 8.
And, dude. Now someone got to boot this dude. Out.
I respect that. I respect your conviction.
I respect your conviction.
I love 9. enjoyed 10 quite a bit, but not as much as the other 3.
He said blinks.
I actually really like 13.
Ew. Okay, change my mind.
Hey. So let's see. So we got Halo and Final Fantasy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Half-Life.
Wow, you're a Half-Life guy.
Yeah.
First time Half-Life.
I don't know Rand anywhere near as well as I thought I did.
He
Half-Life.
said the truth was coming.
Half-Life is a game that blew my mind back when I first played it on PC all those years ago. Being like a guy, like I played Doom and I would play Wolfenstein, right? And it's like kind of cartoony graphics or whatever, and you get to an end, and the end of the level is always you push a button, load into the next.
Right.
And then you play Half-Life, and you start a game on a tram, right? And like there's no end of the level. It just keeps on going. And like to me, that was like mind-blowing at the time. How everything just kind of was interlinked.
It was.
And yeah, so Half-Life is definitely top 3. So we got Halo, we have
Final Fantasy,
we have Half-Life.
2 more.
So we have 2 more. This is
These are the games that defined you as a gamer, that they just
Fortnite.
hold a special place in your life. And none of those Barbie games for those achievements you
Yeah. None of those Barbie games.
And that was the case. He would say Lego, man. I'm sure he got all kinds of achievements off the Lego game.
Shout out to Maka. Like, what was that one he put? Ben-Hur.
I love that game. Remember we fought for like an hour trying to get the last achievement?
Yeah, we were terrible trying to do that.
I don't know where this would be, but I'm just gonna say it. Resident Evil. Right. I don't know if that would be 5 or 4.
Okay.
It is one of my I've played pretty much all of them, and I love the franchise. And just because I don't want to take up that much more time, I'm gonna just say a franchise that was my favorite from last gen. 2 of their games were my favorite from the 360. You know, I probably would be Grand Theft Auto. Like I'd be like Grand Theft Auto. Clearly, I love Grand Theft Auto, but that's kind of like the easy thing. I'll just say BioShock.
Okay.
Because BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite were like 2 of my absolutely top 5 games from the 360 generation.
Now let me say this: that I've held on to Lord Jez's top 5 from ILP 60, and this is why you two are friends, because he had number 1 Final Fantasy 7. He had as
this
his
wasn't
number
rehearsed
4 original BioShock, and his number 5 was Resident Evil 2. So you guys share 3 top franchises. Now, here's what rounds out for Lord Jez. He has World of Warcraft and Monster Hunter World. So, Lord Jez, do your top 5 need any revising, or are
we talking franchises or games?
Franchises or games, either one. Because you have Final Fantasy 7.
He's about to take all.
He's about to change it.
Well, I'm gonna strip out Monster Hunter, like as a franchise. I really like Monster Hunter World, but I haven't played the other games in the franchise. And that was the first Monster Hunter game I played. So in that place, I'll probably put Fallout.
So you threw Monster Hunter into the bushes.
You gonna put Fallout 76?
I'm sure King is loving that.
I love the fact that he threw Monster Hunter into the bushes.
It's not just that, but like Fallout 3. New Vegas. I've been gone back and started playing Fallout 1 as well. You know.
What about that 76 though?
I've got about 130 hours in 76.
You're the only person that I've spoke to that even likes the game. And no, I want to know why though.
No, totally.
It's now I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's some kind of amazing game, because it is a hot mess. I gave it 6 out of 10 in our review, and you know, and it's pretty lame how Bethesda treated everyone when they launched this game. It was like,
did you get the canvas back?
I didn't get the canvas back, but I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about like. Basically, they had a beta test you had to pay to get into, which is you could only get into the beta if you pre-ordered the game. And like maybe if they'd done a real beta test, maybe it wouldn't have been so broken. And the game's still broken. Like even after like several major patches, it's still rough, you know. And but that said, it does have really great environmental storytelling, like holotypes and stuff to explore, and all the stories intersect and interweave, and people are discovering all sorts of secrets, like in the narrative, which I enjoy. I enjoy exploration games. It's also got that scavenging sort of survival gameplay loop, which I find addictive and sort of almost meditative, like Conan Exiles. I got like over 100 hours in Conan Exiles. I like Minecraft survival mode. It's got that aspect of it too.
And Jez, does it have crafting?
It has crafting.
We know how you feel about that.
The whole game really revolves around crafting, because like the plans for crafting are really rare, and when you get one, it's like, oh yeah, I got that cool plan for a toilet or something.
But you know,
and I know that's not for everyone. I know it's not for everyone.
That's the thing.
I find it addictive. But yeah, it's like again, I'm not putting Fallout 76 is the worst Fallout game. I'm not gonna sit here and claim otherwise, but as a franchise, I've got well over 200 hours in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, and maybe about 100 hours in Fallout 4.
Wow.
I love the franchise. It's for me.
See, I just couldn't trust Anchorman's take on it. That was, listen, I understand he's a super fan, but everybody was piling on the game, and I was interested in the game, but very afraid to even purchase the game from all the negative stuff that I was hearing from it. And you're just the first person that I heard that actually put in the hours behind the game. So I just
I really like originally I wasn't even going to review the game.
Right.
I was going to get like one of our colleagues to review it, and I generally I'm lucky that, you know, because I'm in charge of the gaming coverage, I only have to really review games that I really care about. Whereas like some of the other writers, I just say, you've got to review this week, and if you don't, you're fired.
Whoa.
I don't say it like that, but
you see
Lord Rand, he's previewing, he's setting up the preview of how it would be for you.
You know what the great thing about YouTube is there is no boss. I make every decision, and if I don't want to make a video, I don't have to.
Not if you working for
Rand is his own boss.
Not if you're working for Jez, you ain't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Continue, Jez. I'm sorry.
I'm an awesome boss. Just ask Mac Brown. I'm sure he loves me. But anyway, but after seeing all the hate the game was getting, and also because like I'm a Fallout fan, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a proper, going over. And I've actually written 2 reviews of the game, sort of. I wrote the scored review, and then last week I wrote the things that are good about Fallout 76. So if you are interested in the game and you want to know what parts of the game are actually fun and work well,
read it.
I've written an article about that.
He said, "Get your behind over there with your fraud self and go read it." I like the way that you worded that. That was good. How you worded it. You called me a fraud and told me to get my behind over there and read it.
Oh no, it's just easier. It's just lazier for me to make you read something and tell you about it. But there's a lot of good things in the game.
Listen, man,
there's a lot of broken stuff.
Fallout's on your list. We've taken Monster Hunter World off. We've put in the Fallout franchise.
If we're talking just franchises, I'd have to probably put Dragon Age and Mass Effect on there as well.
Wow.
I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours in the Dragon Age franchise too. Absolutely.
Me too. Love that game. Love Mass Effect franchise.
Dragon Age Origins, played it so many times. Also like Mass Effect as well. I love Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3. I actually like 3 as well.
Me too.
Even though that's like the game everyone.
I know everyone gets all mad with the ending.
Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda kind of like. Mass Effect 3 was so polarizing.
Yeah. Remember, they had to redo the ending. They added more content. Remember? Yeah.
You know what? I haven't actually gone back and checked that out yet.
Dude, you got to do it, because here's the thing. Depending on no spoilers, what choices you picked, they've added more context to that choice.
I mean, the game's like how old at this point?
I know. I just listen.
Rand is like when a game starts being like more than 2 years old, it doesn't exist to Rand.
Dude, it's like Mass Effect 3 came out in what, 2010? It's 9 years old.
It's still better than 99% of games that come out now.
Mass Effect Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect franchise is in my top 10, right?
Right.
And I'll say like the ending is the worst ending I've ever seen to a video game franchise.
Jesus.
But it didn't like
The whole
negate
game was the ending. The whole game was the ending.
right. But let me just finish the saying. It's like there's this talk about like it's
Break it down.
What's the right way to say this? Right.
I feel like
Political rant.
I've always
There you go.
been more about. I've been always more about the journey rather than the destination. Right.
Okay.
So even though the destination of Mass Effect 3 was a trash heap, right?
Mm-hmm.
The journey, like that destination,
Fire.
doesn't negate the entire journey
Facts.
that you
Remember
went
this-
through.
The suicide mission for part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 is
bro.
one of the
I mean,
Mass Effect 2,
one of the best.
straight up best games ever made.
Right. So like the fact that all like they're hyping up Mass Effect and like all these decisions and how it matter, and the ending was literally it's either red, blue, or green, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. It's red, blue,
You're
or
right.
green.
No, you're right.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Red, you are correct. Now, Ren, I have to ask you the question. I have to test your fraudness now. Did you go back after they updated the ending? After the outcry was just what you said, when everyone agreed with you that it wasn't up to snuff based on the journey, right? Did you go back?
Yeah, I'm curious in that question too.
Let's go.
As a person with a million gamer score,
No.
do you think I would?
Here we go.
I know. I mean, I watched the stuff on YouTube. I watched the changes. I watched the things they added. But I'm just saying, like, I still love Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. The journey that I went on was amazing, and that can't be negated by that ridiculous, dumb ending. I can't believe they thought people would like that, dude. I mean,
I liked it. I like pretty colors.
Red, blue,
Red,
green.
green, and blue, man. Shout out.
That's it.
Hold on. Shout out to Lord Boom, man, with the super chat, with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, bro. Much appreciated to have you in the room. Thank you.
That's my flight buddy.
That's
Shout
our
out
buddy.
to
We're
my
that's our E3 flight buddy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sucks
All
about being
on
the
the same flight.
We're
We're
on
gonna
the same
own that
flight.
flight.
And you know what
Exactly.
sucks about being way over here in Virginia? I don't get a flight buddy unless it's Anchor Man, and he don't go anywhere.
No, but you get a going home flight buddy.
That is true.
Yeah, to the airport.
Yeah, but
Shout,
hey,
shout out to Leonidas. He said this is his favorite podcast on the Citadel. Salute. That's Mass Effect right there. No, but I hear you, man. I do hear what you're saying. And for 3 games to culminate in that ending, I understand the outrage. I completely understand. But in the same token, I agree with Jez that part 2, one leading up, and then part 2 itself, man. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing.
I didn't play the third one, but to my understanding, like the ending was the same regardless what your choices were. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, I do feel like a little bit on Rand's side. You know, if you completely revolve the entire franchise around, the cause and effect system, you can't have the same ending. Like,
Hold on, we got Sam in the top of the chat. He said when he interviewed Drew Kaspersian, he said it was of the opinion that the team at BioWare simply wasn't given enough time to properly nail the ending for Mass Effect 3. So
yeah, I mean
part of it.
that's
you know
sounds
what
about
happened,
right.
man? About 80% through, they let that Andromeda team take over.
that's Calvin.
Cognito, I gotta say,
what's
I
up?
sat there after finishing that ending, right?
Mhm.
Now, I was so disappointed
I know.
that I started to try to like this can't be like there's got to be more to it. And then that rumor started floating around about how Shepard was indoctrinated
Yes.
at one point.
Mhm.
And then I started thinking, I'm like, oh man, if that's the true ending, bravo to BioWare, because that's ballsy,
That
right?
would have been ballsy.
That's ballsy. And then I remember Angry Joe made a video about it and all these different, and it was like, man, this really lines up, right?
Yes.
This really lines up. And then they're like, no, he's not
And
indoctrinated.
they're like, nobody shot it
oh,
down.
God.
I agree. Those fan theories were actually better than the ending.
Oh, my
But we gonna
God.
move on because we'll talk about Mass Effect all damn day.
I'm installing it right now.
Dude,
Last week's poll results are in, and the people have spoken. Well, last
week.
year. Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to say, bro.
Yeah. The people have spoken in regards to the recent Ashen multiplayer setup fact released by the studio. Do you think these steps are acceptable for cooperative gaming? I guess I got to say 2019 now. The winner at 51% of the vote was the no. This antiquated state of co-op is unacceptable. No more friends codes group. Coming in at second place at 33% was the I Don't Care. Y'all didn't keep that same energy with Monster Hunter World Co-op. Coming in at last place with only 16% of the vote was the Yes. Clearly a design choice by the developer, adds a unique charm to the game group. Shout out to all the lords who participated in last year's poll. I gotta go straight to Lord Rand. Lord Rand, you did a great review on this. How do you feel about these poll results here?
What was the question again?
Ashen's cooperative.
Oh, Ashen's
gaming.
co-op.
Yes.
I don't understand why they did that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like in 2019, if you make a game that's co-op, I should be able to easily invite the person.
I think
now
money involved. I think
I was able to play the entire game in co-op with my friend, so it didn't impact me, right? But I know it impacted other people, and I get what the developers.
It almost gave Kid Smooth a heart attack.
Yeah, I get what they wanted to do. They wanted to have that kind of journey vibe to it. Like at any point in time, it's a real person and not an AI character. But it did seem like it was poorly implemented. The fact that I had to we both had to check on the multiplayer filter and put in the same code. Like, what is this? A Nintendo Switch?
That's what I'm saying.
And Ashen's a cool game too. Like I enjoyed it quite a bit,
game.
especially in co-op. So
love the.
I don't understand why they did it that way. It's weird.
I agree. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't spoil too much, but hopefully the lords should be getting some answers soon from one of the developers. So stay tuned for that. So we
Jez is in tight with those guys.
Ooh, Annapurna, come on, Jez, let me get the hookup. But
Jez is like, who? You're lucky, man. When I interviewed them, I told them not even to put the friend code in.
Oh, so you're the one that saved it by even throwing the friend code in, huh?
Oh no! I told them not to add that. I was just like, leave it completely.
Oh, Jez wants to see the world burn. What the heck? You put it in there. You can play with strangers. Oh, you're gonna put another feature where you can play with your friends. No, we don't need that. We want to play with nothing but strangers because playing with blueberries is always the efficient way to do it.
You just want everyone to suffer, man. Oh man! So stay tuned for the latest poll that'll be cooking up at the end of the show. Let's get into these topics, Lords. We got a lot to discuss. So we're gonna start off with Microsoft and this multifaceted next gen approach. So here are the rumors that we know thus far. I want to shout out Lord Jez, Lord Rand, of course, and Lord Brad Sams. He's been on it as well. And Lord Rand and Jez, you guys can feel free to update me if my information is incorrect, because I know we were away. ILP was away when a lot of this stuff started to leak. Yes. So first, what we have is the current generation of Xbox One S, kind of like being some revision with the Maverick, right? Almost like a diskless Xbox One S, possibly 2019. And then we're hearing about the Roma, right? Which appears to be some kind of digital onboarding service. Should I say, Jez? Is that correct, Rand? Is it like some kind of onboarding Roma, so to speak, in conjunction with the S? Oh, you guys don't know. Okay, so we won't leave it alone.
I think I heard Roma was more sort of like the kind of like the evolution of UWP and this cross-platform thing.
Right.
So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so we got that, and then obviously we have we also heard about Anthem, which is not the EA game, but the Project X Cloud, kind of centered around the Xbox One S architecture. Then moving on, we kind of got the big boys, which is the Scarlett family, the next generation devices, which should consist of Lockhart, which again, the Scarlett next gen equivalent of the Xbox One S, and of course the big boy, the Anaconda, which should be the high end or the Scarlett Pro. So rounding all out of all of this will be Anaconda equivalent of the Project X Cloud. We're still hearing about more studio acquisitions. Great video, Rand, by the way. Possible VR, the expansion of Game Pass, and shout out to Lord Jez Corden on this one with the patents for some Xbox resistive controller designs. So all this is still rumor. All this is speculations with very good sources. Some in the room. But just based on what we currently know this far, in your opinion, is this multi-prong approach, is it the correct direction by Microsoft, or do you think this is just way too confusing for the average consumer?
Now I've had some extra thoughts about this recently because obviously me and Brad have completely different sourcing on this because he had more information about, he had Roma. I never heard of Roma or anything like that. I think Roma is the digital onboarding service, not the UWP thing, which is called Game Core OS. So he definitely had different sourcing than me.
Mhm.
Now I don't know for a fact that it's going to release as two devices. What it might be is
Mhm.
that these are two separate prototype devices, and they might end up deciding to go with just one of them. I
Gotcha.
don't think there's any hard evidence right now
Mhm.
that they're going to release two SKUs. Now,
Mhm.
they may well be releasing two SKUs, but at the very least, there are two Scarlett consoles that exist today
Mhm.
that have different specs, and
Mhm.
that's what they're working with right now.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know if you guys have been seeing the news recently, but
Mhm.
Apple has recently
Mhm.
taken pretty massive stock hit and a lot of
Mhm.
controversy
Mhm.
about its approach to the latest iPhone line.
Mm.
And how they were saying like the iPhone XR didn't sell as well as they thought,
Mhm.
and stuff like that, because like even though the iPhone XR is a really good device, it's
Mhm.
still seen by people as the bad iPhone, and
Mm.
they can't afford the good iPhone, so they just completely skipped over it completely.
Right.
I think there's definitely an argument to be made that
Mhm.
releasing two different SKUs could be confusing for consumers,
Mm.
or even just like it could like completely
Mhm.
undermine the idea of having like,
Mhm.
you know, someone would be like, oh, I'll just get the XS, but then
Mhm.
um I'll just get the
Mhm.
S2, or what do
Mhm.
we call it, or the
Right.
Scarlet Light, should we call it? I'll
Mhm.
just get that,
Mhm.
and but then that'll be the console that everyone regards as the bad console.
Gotcha. What you mean? You're referring to Lockhart is what you're saying. That
Yeah,
one. Okay.
Lockhart would be
Gotcha.
the console that people regard as a bad console, and they
Mhm.
might just end up going to PlayStation just so they don't have to make that choice.
I
So I
do
think
have. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Lord Jez. I was just gonna say I do think that with the mid generations this
Mhm.
gen, I think next gen, if you launch with two, it'll be a little bit more open to it because we've dealt with mid gens for a couple years now, so people they're at least a little bit more noticeable when it comes to two different
think
kinds of SKUs.
I think the way if they are gonna go with two SKUs, I think the lower end SKU needs to be significantly cheaper, so
Gotcha.
they can be like, so it can sort of slip into that sort of budget conscious
Yep.
market. If it's just slightly cheaper, then they're kind of undermining
Purpose.
them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
undermining
Right.
it a bit.
Right.
So
So we're talking 300 for Lockhart, 400 for PlayStation 5, 500 for Anaconda, right? Would that be
I
significantly
don't
cheaper?
know. I don't
yeah,
think so.
yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Well,
Shout out
I
to
wonder how people I wonder how people would react
that would be
if
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
if Lockhart has like less teraflops than say the X, right?
Hmm.
Apparently, the current rumor is that Lockhart is either lower spec or equivalent to the X, and that it will be boosted by
The CPU.
Right. That's
some
what I'm hearing.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like you have the
Mhm.
X at 6
CPU
teraflops, and
or like hardware refinements, because you got to remember the current Xbox operating system is a bit of a mess, and
yeah.
that's why the dashboard's as laggy as it is, and so there might be like there's a range of things they can do to get more juice out of it, but keep the cost down, and cooling is one of them, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
So shout
It
out
is
to Ryan the
Because the
Professional.
X has
$2
the
super chat, y'all. Shout out to Ryan the Professional. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Continue, Rand. And
shout out to
continue.
Rand.
Mhm.
Because the whatchamacallit, the X has the liquid cooling system, right? So if they can come up with a solution that is a little bit more cost effective, and with the new CPU inside,
Mhm.
I say probably keep the same specs, but if they can change the cooling,
Mhm.
I think it can bring the cost down. I'm saying like 279, 299 for the cheaper version, to make it come in with that price point. Because like when you flash a price point on the screen, or when you walk into the store and you see a price point of like 299, we all know it's $300, but
Right.
it's something, the way that it's shown, it tricks your brain into affordable, right? And instead of saying 300 but 299, that weird dollar changes, your opinion of it.
They want that first number being in the smaller number than it
right,
really is.
the $299, right? So so it comes in. Let's say it comes in $100 cheaper than the PlayStation 5, right? Which will be at a higher spec than that lower spec Xbox. But then you have the higher spec Xbox, which will probably be $500. I don't think it's going to be too much confusion because I believe that the early on masses gravitate towards the cheaper option. If they can get the same amount of gameplay out for cheaper,
right,
then they will go with the cheaper option.
Let me ask you, King, and let me ask Rand this. Now, as far as that multi-SKU approach, we're assuming with Scarlett, with Lockhart and Anaconda, like, do you think this may be a result of them looking at the success of the Xbox One X, right? And remember, let's be honest, like when the X was announced, it was kind of announced at the same time the S was debuting, so to speak. And everybody was like, no, what are you doing? Remember, like, it's like a mistake. Yeah. You can't do that. So, like, do you think because of the success of the X that they're extra confident now to say, hey, this is something that we can provide, almost like a cell phone model, so to speak, Rand?
I don't think it's confusing that there's two, like I mean, they did it with the 360. There was the Pro and the Arcade. Yes. One had the hard drive, one didn't. I don't think consumers will be confused that, hey, here's one, this plays games better than the other. What could be confusing is the X and the S still being carried forward, and what games work where.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, hypothetically, the rumors are true, and it's two systems in the future, right? You have Anaconda, you have Lockhart, but they're still going to be selling the X, and they're still going to be selling the X and the S, and then supposedly there's also the discless one, Maverick.
Right.
That's 5 SKUs on the store shelves at 2020. Now that could be a little, I could see being confusing to someone who's not in the know, not the hardcore. Like, we'll know, right? People listening to this podcast will know. The hardcore gamers who are buying it day one will know. But I can see that being a little bit confusing to some, because they'd be like, so does the X play the new Call of Duty? Or, you know what I mean? Like, that could be a little confusing, because I'm still not really sure on what the future.
I think they're going to kill the
I'm just not really sure what the future of the X and the S are going to be for Microsoft, especially with, another diskless version. So until that until we start seeing Microsoft's messaging on this, I don't know. Like, I kind of do think they are going to release 2 systems, because from the rumors, it's like one system's like incredibly more powerful than the other. And I understand, like, because I believe Sony did this with Neo when it was codenamed, Neo with the Pro. They had one version that was more powerful but more expensive, and then one version that was cheaper. And it was like, okay, at some point they decided we're just going to do this one. So, I mean, Jez is right in that aspect where it literally could be these are the 2 systems we're thinking about releasing, and we're going to pick one, right? But they do seem to be kind of like really far apart spec wise, where it's like, are they really like, we're either going to go balls to the wall, or we're going to release a system that's going to get destroyed by the PlayStation 5 in spec, right? It's like, okay, I'm not really sure those are like kind of 2 comparable choices there. So to me, it almost reads like it's going to be 2 SKUs.
The reason why I believe that it's going to be 2 SKUs is because I don't believe Phil gives up the power narrative. Like he said, I believe he was on record that won't ever happen again. So in that respect, I do believe that they're going to go with the 2 options, but I think they kill off the S. And I believe because shout out to Digital Foundry, and they just did a video with it was the end of an era with the S, and I believe they kill that off, and I do believe in that same genre, in the same area, the X catches the X as well. Because
that's what Lord Jez said last time we had him on.
Yeah,
Kid Smooth asked him about the fate of the X, and Jez said irrelevant.
Yeah, I believe so, and I believe going forward, those 2 SKUs become the dominant in the hierarchy. I believe those 2 SKUs.
So what about this Maverick that is an S?
That's what I was just
So
about
is
to
it
ask.
getting axed before it can even live?
I believe it dies. I believe it was
Okay.
a concept that they
I
put out and
think
it was looking.
The idea behind Maverick is literally the clues in the code name. It's designed to do something different, and they're basically sending it out to see how the market responds to it. They're testing the waters to see if people really are truly that married to the disk drive or not.
Almost like an experiment, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
like they've got 2 years basically to see how well Maverick performs against the regular disk-based S, and they can see, well, is it worth us having multiple SKUs of Scarlett consoles that have disk drives and don't have disk drives,
Right.
But like they are testing the waters there, and they need to, because if a competitor, like, I don't know, let's just say Apple or Google, for example, if a competitor comes along and they come with a diskless SKU and people love it, and Microsoft and Sony don't have that option, and they get caught with their pants down where another company's innovated and predicted the market better than they have. So they're not leaving anything to chance, and I think the whole point of Maverick is to test the water.
But Jez, Google and Amazon have released diskless SKUs.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just like an example.
Right, yeah, but
Google has like there's some like extreme challenges that Google would have to overcome to get to a point where they could challenge Xbox and PlayStation. I'm just saying, like, it's Microsoft has this sort of, I don't know, almost like trepidation now when it comes to hardware, because they totally screwed up smartphones. Microsoft could have been, the smartphone king. They had everything positioned properly to become the smartphone kings, and they screwed it up. And Amazon just announced that they've sold 100 million Echo devices now. And Microsoft could have been there too, but they screwed it up. And so I think, like, where like in the past or other Microsoft divisions have sort of not innovated fast enough, I think Xbox is sort of like, you know what, we can't afford to not try these things, and have a discussion.
Absolutely. Let me get some comments in before I get it to solve and add it. Mad says they'd be better off keeping the Xbox One X alive, selling it for $300 and Anaconda for $500. Sam Tolbert, he had mentioned that he thinks they need to stay away from the one branding to make the distinction clear for their Scarlett brand. So I actually agree with him on that big time.
They will, because
I don't think they need to do anything with the word one in it from here on out.
the whole point of the one in Xbox One refers to one core, which was the sort of Windows 10 core sort of.
Wasn't that a rumor? That's why they skipped Windows 9 to go to 10, was for the one thing.
I don't know. I don't know if there's any like hard evidence on why they did that, but the thing is, the next Xbox is moving again to a new sort of Windows Core, which is literally called Windows Core OS right now. So it could be called Xbox.
Thinking about Mad's comment.
Yes.
The X at $300. I literally had this conversation with Dealer last night because we were talking about
Shout
this.
out to Lord Dealer.
If you go on Best Buy and the websites and GameStop, the X is currently selling for $500. Right? Now, if we assume these new consoles are coming out in 2 years, is it feasible Microsoft can cut the price on the X by $200 in the next 2 years? And is there any indication of anything they've done with their pricing on any of the Xbox models dating back to the 360 that would say, yes, they are going to drop $100 each year to get to the point where when the next gen comes,
that's a good point.
X is $300, which would be right at the price of Lockhart, which is not a very good value proposition. Why are you selling the X at $300 when this Lockhart supposedly is $300?
Right.
We're assuming, but is much more better. I don't know what they're gonna do, because I just can't see. Like, I see maybe $100 diff. I can see the X being $400, a $50 price cut permanent this year, a $50 price cut permanent in 2020. I think getting it down to $300 by the end of 2020 is a tall order. And I'm not really, like I said, I don't know what Microsoft's messaging and what they're doing, so I don't know their plans for the X and the S.
Right.
Clearly, they have some sort of plans for the S because they built their entire server rack for xCloud.
Exactly, which is the next point I'll get into before we get this off. But
look, I'm not a tech dude. I don't really know much of this stuff, but to me, that says like it's like they're gonna like the X will be viable in some way in the future. Streaming, games to your phones or whatever, and maybe Jez has more information about this or know more about it. I'm sure Dealer would because he's incredibly smart when it comes to this stuff. But
it's important to note, like the number one thing that's going to differ between the One consoles and the Scarlett consoles is the development platform. So, like during the life cycle of Scarlett, Microsoft are going to try and push devs over to a different development platform. Well, this is my prediction. Or
the fact that you know that you're technically. Continue, Lord Jez. Continue. Speculation.
Okay, speculation. Yeah, they're gonna push.
Quotes.
Yeah, they're gonna
just definitely pulled a Rand. It's my prediction.
Well, you have to say it, right? Because plans can and do change. Like,
continue, Jez.
Once upon a time, they were going to release a Surface Mini, and they cancelled it literally a week before launch. So, like, you have to be careful making predictions with these tech companies.
Yeah, because
they don't care. They'll cancel something at a moment's notice. They're not. It's not like Apple, especially with Microsoft. They're harder to predict because there isn't like a single business at Microsoft that really matters that much. It's like where if Apple cancelled an iPhone at the last minute, it would kill their business. Where if Microsoft can delay things and their whole business would still be safe. So
one of the people over there in the Elite Controller, he said like they almost canceled it a week before that came out.
Yeah, that's that whole rumor too. But basically, the thing to note about the main difference between the Scarlett family and the One family is this concept of Game Core OS, which is a new development platform for Xbox and PC. So it's sort of like extending what they've done with UWP, where a developer can make a game once and extend it across both consoles. Not many games actually use it right now. I think like Fallout Shelter is one of them. So like you can guess how powerful it is. The answer is not very powerful. But I've been told that Game Core OS is more Win32 like. For those who know, Win32 is like basically the kind of game you get on Steam and stuff like that. So in that sense, the One X won't be able to play a game that's made with Core OS that runs across PC and Xbox. So at some point during the life cycle of me and Rand have discussed whether this will happen or not.
We were on two different sides there. I said at some point there will be a clear line in the sand where these games will only be playable on Scarlett and not on the regular ones. And you always took the opposite approach. You said that they would be playable across all devices. Which
I was wrong. You were right.
I like that.
But King loves that.
I like that. I like the fact that he was able to midstream flip it. I was wrong. You're right. And it diffuses the whole argument.
Like he said that intentionally, just but okay, you're not gloating.
Because you just like it because you like older technology to get left behind.
I didn't have the info. I assumed that. What I assumed was that Microsoft would develop UWP out to a point where they can put UWP on the One X and and it would work across both. But now new information comes to light, they're just going to abandon. They're just going to abandon UWP and well, not abandon it, but they're just going to extend it to something.
But you did have a good thing where you said Microsoft might be going to developers and being, listen, like you're going to have this new gen, but you still have these 40 some odd million older, Xbox One S, Xbox One X owners that you can sell games to, unlike the PlayStation 5, which is a refresh. You're selling at zero, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And and that kind of fits with Microsoft's whole strategy of what they're actually doing as a company. And we both, when we talked about that, you were like, I think that's what they're going to do. And I'm like, I'm not really sure. I think at some point, is this going to be like, this is for Scarlett and that's it? Because
honestly,
I don't think it goes with anything they've been saying to this point.
Yes, let me get you in there. Go ahead, man.
I don't think I understand that GameCore it functions differently than UWP, right? And that is the sort of the evolution of it. But I think the fact that they've talked about GameCore being within it, you're able to create sort of more like container-based things, much like what they did with Back Compat, where Back Compat is literally a container that emulates hardware in it.
Well, I know. Just so you don't, say loads of stuff and then me contradict you. I know.
Just so I don't shut you down. Let me shut you down early. Shut you down early with stuff that I'm going to speculate on.
To be quiet.
I just know. I know things.
Another air quote. Air quote.
No, this is what I know. I know for a fact.
Oh, so this is your predictions. Gotcha.
I know for a fact that the Scarlett consoles will be fully backward compatible. I know that Scarlett consoles they run the same development platform environment as the Xbox One platform, and they have to because that's how you get backwards compatibility. And like you say, it runs in a container, a Xbox One container, right? But from what I understand, GameCore is less containerish, to put it in a technical. It's like it is more exposed, like Win32. Like they talk about mod. Like from what I've seen, is they talked about injection based mods, which are like the sort of the mods that people refer to as mods. Injection based mods that are more like developers would probably call them hacks, but they're the ones that people want, not like Bethesda style mods where they are part of the container or whatever. But yeah, that's it.
No, I hear you. I mean, guys, so I want you to finish your point
Let's
in general.
get those likes up, though.
Let's get those likes, y'all, please.
80 people watching.
Absolutely, please. And then let's get the technical lord in here, Saul, man. Like, what do you feel in general with all these cold words, all these things, the Anthem, Anacondas, Mavericks, Lockharts?
So I think the question that I have is nobody's necessarily mentioned Anthem. So everybody's talking about 2 SKUs.
Yes.
How does Anthem figure into this? Is xCloud, or do you not think they're gonna give us something that is xCloud specific at a super low price point?
Yes.
You know what's funny?
Because I thought Maverick was sort of the vessel for that.
So
at least the beginnings of that.
You know what's funny is Jez mentioned things that he hears or whatever that plans change. Jez, are we even sure there's a streaming console anymore?
Honestly, that's a Brad Sams thing. I don't know.
Because I've heard that there is no streaming console.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about a streaming console.
Interesting, because that was the initial rumor, right? That was possibly dedicated streaming box, and now it's kind of, again, the latest things that we've been hearing is kind of like what like Anthem is almost like a Project xCloud centered around S, and then we technically should have another version of Project xCloud which is centered around Anaconda. So it's confusing. But based on what we've been hearing, I kind of agree with you, Rand. Like, I'm not hearing about the dedicated streaming box.
Yeah, because I remember when Brad Sams dropped that info, he said there would be a streaming console.
Right.
And everybody freaked out because they're like, Microsoft's going streaming. Oh my god, it's over, everybody. It's over.
It doesn't work.
And even though like Brad Sams did say they're doing a traditional console, he had more info about the streaming thing, which Jez says he's never heard about. I heard recently that there may be no streaming console. Maybe Brad had his miscommunication, which happens all the time. Maybe it was the diskless Xbox or whatever that I just don't know. And Mike, I don't know. Like I am curious to see how xCloud is going to be positioned, right? Like what is, if there's a paywall
software, right?
I think
like
the streaming service
is it going to be free? Or is it going to be locked behind some sort of subscription? Will Microsoft say, you know what, if you subscribe to Game Pass, you can stream as much as you want, and it's going to be really, because we don't know anything about the xCloud other than that like little video they made, a 4-minute video. We don't know how many games are going to be streamable. Right.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing about xCloud. If those server racks are based on the Xbox One S or Xbox One X.
Mhm.
That means that if you want your game to be on xCloud,
Mhm.
you need to have the game core stuff in it as well.
Right.
Mhm.
So that sort of confuses the whole argument.
It is. It
If you
is.
want,
Get at it.
if you want my
Mhm.
opinion, I think that xCloud is going to be revolved around Game Pass. Like it's going to be there. You know, they're going to always make sure that those games are really friendly with xCloud, and they're going to try to sell that on, Game Pass. You can play all these games on your mobile device.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
would think based on the fact how they're beefing up, Game Pass recently into such a quality service, and it's something that they're really pushing hard. So one would think that obviously, that they want to push xCloud, they want to push that service on it. But I'm with Rand in the sense that how do they solve the point of entry, right? How do you get this in? Because you can't say, like me and King has had this discussion many times, where you can't say, okay, you're going to pay for Xbox Live Gold, and then you're going to have to get the Game Pass. Like, you can't tell that to the mobile market.
I think,
Mhm.
and this is just an opinion,
Go for it.
because I have no fact and I don't work for Microsoft. But my opinion of it is they kill off Live. Live has been the biggest barrier when it came to the PC, right? Because the PC, those guys don't have to pay for it. So, and the console guys has always been an uproar. We have to pay for it, and for a period of time before, you would say and put up the quality of it, right? But you had to have something in place that can give you the value and replace it. Game Pass gives you that value because they're giving away now. If you happen to get Game Pass and you have Live, you're getting free every month, and it's not free, you pay for it, but you're getting on an average of probably 10 games a month, right? They have to find a way to cut that bleeding, put them all into Game Pass to show the value of Game Pass and to take away the barrier of the Live.
Right.
So now
But what about that revenue stream, King? That's a lot of money to walk away from, bro.
You don't lose it when you bundle all of that information, all that stuff into Game Pass. You can say, right,
I don't think they do that without raising the price of Game Pass.
Right, no, but they raised the price of Game Pass $5. Let's say they raised the price $5 because right now it's a crazy value. It's $1.
So that covers Live for the whole year, right?
Right. And you get the Game Pass with the Live, with the friend chat, all that other stuff. But that's something that you can bundle to put to your phones, to put to your tablets, and it comes with games already. So you're just not paying just to multiplayer with your friends.
Right.
You're paying for a service that all that stuff is extra, but you really pay games. You understand? So you have the 200 games off the rip, and every month they will, instead of just releasing them separately for Live and separately for Game Pass, they would just release those same games that they was going to release for Live inside Game Pass.
Listen, man, I mean, this is interesting. I want to jump in. This is all this stuff is interesting to me. I think the key, I want to shout out Attic. I want to shout out you guys at Planet Xbox. I was listening to you guys this week. It's messaging, man. I mean, all I think about is messaging. And we go back to 2013, Rand and Jez, and I just cringe at one of the worst reveals ever. You know what I'm saying? And, with digital sharing, always online, the used games, and how they got killed. And, of course, shout out to the Don, who had us buy he had another system for you. But, that's the old regime. You know what I'm saying? That's the old regime. We know Phil is in there. He's changed the culture, And I think right now with services, and he's got 2 victories. The first, to me, is the success of the mid-console refresh. He's proved with the X. A lot of us as gamers even questioned it, with them revealing it when they revealed it. But, we had Piscatello on the show. The MPD numbers have shown, X to be a tremendous success in console revenue. So I think that's kind of giving them that confidence to say, hey, we can do a 2-prong approach. But again, it's got to be the messaging. And then the second thing has just been the victory of Game Pass and just I think they're in the point of making the point of entry so easy that you don't have an excuse not to have an Xbox, right? They're doing things with Game Pass, like the $1 thing, and what I'm saying? Like they want you in that ecosystem at all costs. And I think if they can, again, this is a big if now, if the ultimate wild card is going to be xCloud, if they can prove that they have an efficient, low latency vehicle for gaming, right? And it's leaps and bounds beyond like a PS Now and so on and so forth, and they've got that Azure infrastructure behind them, they could be in position to dominate with that wild card, in my opinion. But again, big if, big marketing, the PR better be on point. The SKU information, the breakdown better be on point. Those who have the S and the X, what happens to them? That information gotta be on point. You know what I'm saying? If they're able to do that, they can be in preparation for the PS5. That's just my opinion. I'm gonna leave it with Jez and Rand for you to close out this topic.
Jez, you want to touch on this?
I mean, I agree with everything you said. It's just like it's all about messaging. If they are going to do two, then it's got to be positioned in a way that one doesn't undermine the other, like we've seen with the iPhone XR and XS or whatever they are. You know, they've got to, you know, make sure that xCloud is demonstrably value for money. You know, if they are probably going to charge for it because it's going to cost a lot to run that stuff. Bandwidth ain't free. It's cheaper for Microsoft because they have their own data centers, obviously, but still,
so
bandwidth isn't free.
Do you think it's just they'll bundle it with a subscription then, like Game Pass, or its own thing? Like, will they actually have a third subscription where it's like, sign up for xCloud subscription?
I think it's Game Pass.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the wild card. You know, it's kind of like I'm of the. I mean, if I had to guess, and again, I don't know what they're doing, but if I had to guess, I would say it's a tier of Xbox Game Pass, probably.
I would agree.
Interesting.
Game Pass is so important to Microsoft.
It is
that if they can get, it's such a cheap price per month. Plus, you get all the games that, and if you're going after the mobile market, like King said, they're not going to be paying. Like the mobile market wants stuff for free. They ain't thinking about paying money for stuff. They're certainly not thinking about, hey, you want to play Halo Infinite? Sure, on my phone. Yeah. How much is it? Well, it's $10, and then you also got to pay another $60 to play it online. That's DOA, right?
That's DOA.
But then you also got to think like, okay, Microsoft's gonna have a competitor in this space, and that's Google, right? We know they're coming. Is Google gonna charge for their service? Can Google come in there and be like, you know what? You want to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, stream it, right? You buy the game or whatever it is. We won't charge you to stream the game, but every half an hour, you got to watch an ad because they do run YouTube. Ad platforms on the planet.
You're right.
And if whatever Google's doing, if they run it free, then Microsoft has to be like, well, we can't charge for it, right? Like they would have to be like, it's free over here too. It's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing comes together.
Absolutely.
I think the tech
is awesome.
I think the tech is in people's minds is still sketchy enough that they can't get away with charging for it in any capacity. You have to hide that
even
cost
if Google
somewhere.
Charges for it?
If Google charges for it, again, they have to be demonstrably better to be able to charge for it. I just don't think because again, we're talking about the mind of the console gamer, right, as opposed to the mind of the casual gamer, sort of, or somebody who might be kind of leaning towards seeing what Google, an online platform from Google looks like. Like I've been playing it, and it's, again, when it's great, it's great. It's like I'm playing it on an S. When it's not so much. Like you have a lot of artifacts and stuff like that, so it's there. So that's my starting off point. And for me to really be excited about xCloud, it has to show that it's better than that.
Now let me ask,
and it has to be, and on a mobile platform as well, because again,
this off, because you've tested it. You've tested the what is it, the Google service with the Assassin's Creed, right? And you came away very impressed, right, from your early testing.
Yeah, very impressed with how the game plays in optimal situations.
You're not to tell you the truth.
No. I know.
He's come from on live and all the other crap that we've tried. We've tried it all, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the best.
It is the absolute best. Now the only thing is, xCloud is touting this sort of lack of lag on mobile devices, right?
Right.
They're talking about 5G and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think when they talk about the games running that well on a mobile device that's on Wi-Fi, they really talk about 5G.
Right.
Because when I tried to play it on Wi-Fi in my house, like again, not more than a few feet away from my router, it wasn't pretty.
I think they're going to surprise you. They are. They're doing
my man, Jez.
they're doing some voodoo magic to make that work.
Right. Jez, I'm with you because I've heard some things as well. And, you know, to the point of, I don't want to say arrogance, but extreme confidence from what I've heard in reference to xCloud. The things I'm hearing is prepared to be blown away that this is not going to be a PS Now kind of a situation, right? Because theoretically, I mean, traditionally, what we've always felt about streaming has always been that, yeah, you can play some turn-based kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can play some maybe side-scrolling kind of stuff, but when it comes to fast twitch, you really can't do that, right? When you come to FPS and fighting games and, you know, say that kind of thing, you know, notoriously, you're like, you won't be able to do that. So, you know, if they're able to pull this thing off, man, that would be a huge feather in Microsoft's cap.
You know what's the most?
Go for it,
You know what's the most important thing though?
Go for it.
That we haven't even talked about.
Let's go.
The games, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
You could have the powerful console if you don't got games.
Yes.
You know. I mean, Microsoft. I mean, they went on the shopping spree this year. Got some studios. I saw
that video, Ran. Let's go.
I saw Cloverl throwing out tweets today about some studio with some rhyming stuff.
Right. We're hearing more studio acquisitions.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think it's going to happen, and good because
they said it was.
I'm going to be brutally honest.
Go for it.
Microsoft's first party. This gen, last gen, a variety and Microsoft, those are two words that should never be used together.
Tell them, Cognito.
Because I've had conversations with people and they think Microsoft has this big variety on Xbox. And I'm like, do you know who their first party studios are? And it's like, it's Turn 10, it's 343, it's the Coalition, it's Rare, and it's Mojang. It's like, so what have they done this gen? Oh, Forza Motorsport 5, 6, and 7. I'll give them Forza Horizon 4 because they acquired Playground Games by that point.
Right.
Gears Ultimate, Gears 4, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It doesn't scream variety to me. In fact, that screams that's not very good. In fact, you can get rid of Gears Ultimate and Master Chief Collection because they were outsourced.
Yeah.
So there are not many games they made, right? So the most important thing for next gen to me, like, yeah, I'm excited for Anaconda, and I'll check out the xCloud stuff, which I am kind of like, I want to see. You know, I want to see the tech in my hands, right? But it's about Obsidian. It's about Ninja Theory. It's about Playground Games' second studio.
Facts.
You know, it's about Undead Labs actually making, you know, a proper sequel to State of Decay instead of State of Decay 1.5.
Right, with the resources behind it, right?
Yeah, I want to see that because I want to see the diversity, the technology, the initiative, the quadruple A studio that they're building. Like, these are the games that are going to sell these next-gen consoles and the xCloud service and Game Pass, and that's the thing I'm most excited about. Like, to be honest, and I got a video coming out soon about this. I've never been more excited about the future Xbox than I am today.
No, I was surprised by that video because you're not that you're a pessimist, Rand, but you're a realist. Like, you tell it how it is, and you know, a lot of times lately, this generation, Xbox fans have not been happy with you when you've been brutally honest on certain things.
Yeah, I mean,
you come out with almost a positivity video on the future looks bright. It's kind of.
It's not. I think they're gonna have a great year in 2019. I think Ori and Gears of War 5 are gonna be amazing, right? But I'm talking next gen. Like, instead of just Halo, Forza, and Gears, which we're going to get so many different types of games and different genres that you weren't going to be able to get. And it's just like, I look at it, I'm like, finally, this is what I wanted them to do last generation.
Yes.
This is what I wanted them to do to get, like, to build their studios like Sony's at now. Sony's at their position now where they have all these great studios and they're working together and they're on their second, third, and fourth game and they're starting to really hit their stride.
And the funny thing is, like, Microsoft didn't have 15 years to invest into people. Okay, we're gonna have to just use money. Like, we just buy talent, buy studio.
That's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do.
It was an internal conflict in what was going on. Like, you really can't have the house fight and expect it to go right.
That's a good point.
I believe Sony was in line with, I mean, they took their early struggles. People fail to realize and they forget. I was there from the beginning. I was there from the death of Sega on to the birth of Sony on and forward, right? People fail to realize when Sony came in, and you have other people that want to have their revisionist history and stuff like that. That's cool. But I've seen the growing pains.
Right.
And it has bear fruit now that these games are back-to-back Game of the Year winners. These studios are propped up as the best studios that you can get in gaming. And they're not stopping. I honestly believe next year Sony will acquire studios as well. I believe that they will go out and get it because they understand that the onslaught is coming from the Googles and hey, maybe from Apple themselves acquiring them in some form or fashion. But Microsoft, I think the internal struggle is over. And
Satya and giving Phil that. Okay.
Right. I don't like to call out names, except if I'm calling out the Don. Because honestly, I thought that was the low point because we hit our stride with Peter, and I thought we were we were right there. And I say we because I fight for the underdog. I always fight for the underdog. All right. And Microsoft coming in that space, I told y'all before, that's not the people we wanted. We wanted Sega. In any form of capacity, we wanted Sega. Microsoft stepped into their place and took that spot. They are our de facto Sega.
I always give you that.
So for them to get to this point, they seen something clicked. Yeah, they took the loss this year because Sony clean sweep, beautiful games. Great. I'm talking about from story to graphics to beginning to end. Nobody complained about the ending of any of these games, right? They from beginning to end, these games was fantastic. And they had the multiplats. They stole away the rights to certain multiplat games, distribution and promoting. They're doing it right. And Microsoft sees this, and I believe they're in harmony now. And I see the change is going to come, like Rand said, that burger, fries, and shake. I think that stuff is over.
Yo, Hussein coming for you. He said, "King, how you fighting for the underdog? They the richest company in the world."
Yeah, but see, you.
That when he said that.
All right, so and here's this part. Your mother could be rich, but are you rich? See, and I'm gonna give it to you that way so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. They were never viewed as Microsoft the company. You know, understand? They are
You're talking about like Xbox, like being like almost a subsidiary, not like
right.
I see you going. Okay,
right. Xbox doesn't control the purse strings of Microsoft. You understand?
Yeah, I would have to agree because there are certain times like Take-Two's extremely rich, but you know we don't go to the people who make like XCOM and stuff with like, why don't you got more? Like,
right? So don't look at it as Microsoft the company is extremely rich. Take the whole mentality. Let's say your parents are rich. You got money. You just don't have their money.
Facts. I hear where you're going. And let's be honest.
They give that allowance. They don't
the
give more.
Terry Myerson situation, and now Phil in at the table. It's a different structure now, right? We would agree that it's not the same.
So now the allowance is different, and they view you. Now you sit at the big boy.
The allowance is different.
The big boy table is very good now, right? You see the studios being purchased. You see people talking about we're going over to Japan to purchase real estate over there. Is it difference when you're sitting at the big boy table for Thanksgiving opposed to sitting at the little kids table on the side?
Fair enough. This is interesting stuff. I know, Attic, you've got a roll soon, Attic. So do you want to jump off the next one real quick, man? With
I'll go ahead and do the topic and do my perspective, but then I got to bounce.
Yeah, I know you got to bounce. So just jump it off, man. What's going on?
So Activision, apparently, I didn't realize. I don't think. Okay, here's the thing. My topic's going to be what's Activision looking like in 2019. If you look at last year, like the only real success that they claim I'm going to put that success. If I had my camera on, I would use in quotations, but I don't turn my camera on anymore. But so apparently, like the only real success that they had last year, and once again, success in quotations, is Call of Duty, you know, being the #1 selling game. But they said underperformed their expectations. So first off, let's start there. How are you going to outsell everything in the whole year? And it underperformed you. I don't get that. Okay, we'll keep going from there. So we get the Destiny 2. Apparently Forsaken was huge under their what they aim to make.
Said underperformed, disappointed in Destiny 2.
And regardless what Ram feels about it, the game definitely
fantastic.
Here's the thing, like, I do give that a little bit of pass because it probably did underperform what they expected to make, but you can't come out good 6 months before that and be throwing softball, and then you finally have that that home run, and it's like, you've been showing me this. So a lot of people were skeptical to even buy it because of that. So and then you go to Overwatch has been on the decline. That's but Blizzard and Activision are actually the same company pretty much. But Overwatch has been on the huge decline. I didn't realize this, but ever since the battle royale genre took over, it completely cannibalized Overwatch's fan base. And then you got Hearthstone's one of the companies that's doing really well. So what I want to ask is, when it comes to Activision and Blizzard, do you think that with the underperforming games, what they're doing, one, do you think that that's going to reflect how they do business with these microtransactions? I don't. And two, do you think other companies are secretly in this kind of dilemma, but they're not coming out openly and saying it?
Well, first off, looks like we have one of our Blizzard and World of Warcraft representatives that has joined us. Stream team lead, LordCognito. What's going on, sir?
Hey, you doing, everybody? Happy New Year. How are things?
Things are good. I see you playing that WoW very strong. Continue despite the climate.
Very strong.
Yeah, so all that looked like to me is I saw you do a raid. I was in there for about an hour and a half, and I was like, they just look like bullet sponges. Like,
but I think Lord Jez would appreciate your WoW love. But tell me what you think about what's going on, man. This is a near and dear subject to you. So what do you feel about all this news coming out?
So I've been saying probably for over 4 years that there's been a steady decline in the background that nobody has seen on the Blizzard and Activision fighting in the corporate level, because you lost Menson, you then lost 2 CEOs this year, you lost Morheim, so you've lost all these executives from the top of the Blizzard structure, these core people that are now leaving, and there's going to be like a huge fracture right down the middle, and Activision is just throwing all of their corporate executives into the Blizzard structure that is just going to pretty much dissolve them from the inside out. Because you've lost almost all of love for Heroes of the Storm, which means you've lost the one cool thing about it, which is Heroes of the Dorm. So you've lost that whole people of everyone loving them. I totally agree with what Alex said about the love for Overwatch. Fortnite has pretty much destroyed them. StarCraft is going to still stay alive. They're going to still be around. They are like the #1 sport in Korea. Are they really going to take that? No. Now, one of the other things you got to think of is Diablo. If anybody saw the Diablo release, or what they did, they made everyone so mad. They could have said very easily, given a video and gone, hey guys, listen, we're going mobile with Diablo, but Diablo 4 is in the works. They didn't even do that, which shows they have nothing. But no love for them anymore. So, and then you got the head, or I should say the head designer, Ian Hazukosis, talking about Blizzard. We're talking about Warcraft. And you know what? It looks like in every single week he is doing damage control. And just by looking at his face, he's just like, yeah, I'm here because they're making me, and I'm just waiting from the script. It's every single week.
It sounds like he under duress.
If you watch him, he just looks like he's just like, I've been beaten up every day this week, and I'm just here to make everyone happy. And everyone is just going to attack me because I'm pretty much their poster boy.
Mhm. All right, so that situation is a little rough. Let me get
It
Lord
is.
Jez in this because I'm very curious. Obviously, I know he has some Blizzard love going on there, but then I know he doesn't have not a lot of Activision love. So
I hate Activision.
I know. So you gotta be
At every single level, everything that Activision touches.
And on every single level.
I love it.
I wasn't a blogger when Activision joined up with Blizzard or they merged or whatever it was. I mean, it is technically a merger, but it ain't really a merger. It's Activision taking them over and stuff like that. And I knew even back then it'd take a while, but they will destroy Blizzard, and we've started seeing it now. But it's I actually have Blizzard sources and Blizzard sourcing. And I don't leak Blizzard stuff because it's not really what I'm known for and stuff like that. But I've heard things about Diablo 4, and obviously Kotaku has done a ton of reporting on what's going on at Blizzard, and they were saying like finance executives were sitting in on creative meetings, which is something that never usually had in Blizzard before. So you had the two chief financial officers, of both of whom are now gone. They used to, they were sitting in on creative meetings and being like, "Oh well, why don't you do this? It'll make more money," And that's something that wasn't in Blizzard's DNA before. Anecdotally, it does feel like morale's low with the people I know from Blizzard, but I have also heard that what they do have Diablo 4 is really promising, and they do have really grand plans for it. And as such, I'm personally not worried about that. But like, you can just feel how crappy and corporate Blizzard started becoming. Like the fact that Battle for Azeroth was probably the most rushed expansion to market that I can remember.
It's horrible. It's horrible, but I enjoy it.
It's horrible, but I don't enjoy it. I admire your balls to continue playing that game, because after killing heroic, I was just like, nah.
I roll with the same three friends, and all we do is just laugh the whole night. That's why.
That's why I was just playing with randoms, and like I suppose like with WoW, it's who you play with that really makes it, especially when it's got a crappy expansion like that. But my God,
Jez is going in.
No, but seriously, the systems they've implemented in Battle for Azeroth were completely untested. It's like I'm not going to go into the big details because I'll put half the podcast to sleep. But put it this way: the way that Battle for Azeroth works, it worked at launch, was like there was like multiple layers of progression called this Azerite system, blah blah. But the problem is obtaining this Azerite stuff was the most boring systems they've ever put in the game, in island expeditions and warfronts, and the world quests were bad too. And man, just every headline feature of Battle for Azeroth was a complete failure. And it feels like if they'd spent more time but not only that, the classes were broken too. Wow. And it's like it's not like, it's almost like they didn't test it enough. And indeed,
balanced.
Do you feel, Jez, that I'm sorry, I'm totally cutting in on you, but do you feel like if they actually put some time and some money into what they did, that player base would still be there? Because it's almost like they should have known this was coming, because they saw it from Warlords of Draenor being so, like, they've totally messed up Warlords of Draenor, and then they just redid it again now.
Well, put it this way, right? There are two teams that work on Blizzard expansions. This is a B team expansion.
Oh, definitely.
Wow.
The A team made Legion, and Legion was like probably the best expansion ever, and like brought loads of players back. I came back after like being away from the game for several years, and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. There's so much stuff to do, so much story and content, blah blah blah. Then going into Battle for Azeroth, they had like really good marketing, and there's all this controversy about the story and what they're doing, and it was like, oh, it's going to be as good as Legion, and then it kind of sort of was not as good as Legion. And you've got all this stuff with Heroes of the Storm. I don't know if you've seen this drama, but they basically cut the Heroes of the Storm dev team in half or more. laid off a bunch of people a few weeks before Christmas, cancelled all the esports stuff, all the athletes, and all those guys are out of the job. That just reeks of Activision, man. I can't see Mike Morhaime sitting there and thinking, you know what, let's put all these guys out of work just before Christmas. I can't see him doing that. But
Well, that's what he's done.
Yeah, the thing that seems scary that you mentioned, the first thing I hear when you're talking about Activision higher up sitting in on creative meetings, that concerns me. You know,
it should be noted as well. While you mentioned that is that before Activision and Blizzard had separate CEOs. Mike Morhaime was the CEO of Blizzard, while Bobby Kotick was the CEO of Activision. Well, now Jason Allard is just the president of Blizzard. He's not the CEO of Blizzard. So, like, when Blizzard gets a new chief financial officer, they won't be the CFO of Blizzard. It'll be like, director of finance at Blizzard, and that they'll answer to Activision's CFO.
Right.
Whoever that is. I think they actually got Xbox's old CFO in, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Did you hear when they finally announced half of the stuff at BlizzCon that David Berwick, who is the ex-Diablo, the original Diablo creator, he was just like Activision Blizzard. He goes, they just lost total touch of what the people want. They don't want them anymore.
Well, I heard that they were originally going to plan to show something of Diablo 3, but like, I mean, that's all they had to do, right? And when they announced Diablo Immortal, and they were like, "Don't you guys have phones or whatever?" That people were just instantly like, "Well, why didn't they do what they did with Gears and just say, yeah, Gears 5 is coming," or like do what they did with Elder Scrolls Blades or whatever?
Yes.
And they were like, "Yeah, Elder Scrolls Blades, we've got this mobile game, but also we've got Elder Scrolls 6 coming and stuff like that." Why didn't they just do that? I agree. It just seems like Activision corporatism they're just gone completely out of touch now.
Let me get Rand in on his favorite publisher, Activision. What you hear about all these news and the franchise, the state of their franchise and stuff like that? I mean, what's your thought process? Do you think they're on the decline? Do you think finally the evil empire might be showing chips in the armor?
I kind of smile when they say they're going to perform, and like, but it's like I think they're just not making enough money for them, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't believe for a second Destiny is not profitable,
right?
For Activision, it's just like it didn't make us $2 billion. It only made us $1 billion. It didn't make us $3 billion like we wanted or whatever. They are the worst, in my opinion, like the worst publisher out there by far. And some of these like Modern Warfare 4 leaks are kind of interesting.
Yeah,
like
I heard Ghost, right? I heard some Ghost stuff.
No, so I guess it's not Ghost. That was confirmed by Jason Schreier. Okay. But there was some other leaks in it, and it's Modern Warfare 4. And so it has a campaign. It's got Blackout and all that stuff.
I'm down with that.
But the campaign isn't the new campaign. The campaign for Modern Warfare 4 is a remastered Modern Warfare 2 and 3.
Oh my god!
Which sounds like the ultimate Activision thing.
That's cash grab all over it.
And then a new Blackout map. The multiplayer and the zombies and all this stuff. And it's like I was reading that stuff and I'm like, this sounds like okay, so we're not doing a campaign again, but we're just going to remaster Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and say that's the campaign. Like, it's totally Activision, man. Like, I don't know. I don't like Bobby Kotick. The fact that they're going
to about to say Bobby Condas.
The fact that they're about to ruin Blizzard is a travesty. Like, a year ago, Blizzard and Bethesda were, like, loved by everybody. And a year later, they're, like, two of the most hated companies for whatever reason now.
But Red, Slow-Mo asked, he said, but Activision, could it be possibly worse than EA?
Activision
I think EA is on the uptick.
Seriously, Activision is so much worse than EA. Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, EA is the one that catches the flack, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. EA does a lot of stupid stuff. EA doesn't actually want to be hated. They're just dumb. Whereas they don't care if they're hated. They will drink your blood.
If Activision had the same issue with the loot boxes that EA did, they would have never reneged on it like EA did. No way.
Activision, like, they know they're hated. They're reveling it. They're like, you know what? They're like, let's see how evil we can be this week. That's Activision's MO, man. They are selling a red dot reticle for a red dot site for $3.
Hold on. I gotta defend the evil Activision. I gotta come for you, Jez, because you out here with that Fallout 76 and them Christmas skins, bro. But Bethesda's just creepy. They're coming for me, man.
So I'm not defending that either. I was talking to someone earlier about this, where like my friend was like, I don't know if I want to buy the I don't know if I want to buy the expansions for The Witcher 3 because they're kind of pricey. And I was like, do you realize that the price of a Witcher 3 expansion costs the same as a bunch of emotes in Fallout 76?
But that's just on their way in 1 year rewriting their whole culture as far as public perception. I just found that funny. But
it's not new for Bethesda either. They pioneered the DLC, the horse armor.
What does Activision actually do? All they make is Call of Duty, right? Year after year. Like Blizzard at least was like Overwatch and Diablo and stuff like that.
Look at the lineup, Rand. I mean, Call of Duty.
That's it.
Candy Crush,
man.
I was referring to Slow-Mo's thing. It's like,
oh, okay, I got you.
Like EA is at least giving us Dead Space, Mirror's Edge, Mass Effects.
Yes, but I think above and beyond like Activision's nastiness, I think there's also an issue of stagnancy within Blizzard in terms of IP. Like you cannot continue to just rely on Diablo and Overwatch and Candy Crush or whatnot to
Why
make
not? Microsoft
money.
Just relied on Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Oh my man!
But the thing about it is, that when you look at Blizzard, thing about Blizzard is this pairing was always weird to me anyway, because you pair a company that prides itself on taking a sweet time making its games with a company that wants you to chuck one out every single year. Right? So that was always going to be an issue, right? But I just think, like, when you look at what other things that Blizzard has in its portfolio, like StarCraft, like, you can't, just the desire for a mass market real-time RTS isn't there anymore. You're going to have your fans that are going to love it, but it's not going to appeal to the mass market the way an Activision would want it to. So it's like, is Blizzard ever going to be in a position again to make a game that sort of changes the rules? Like with Overwatch, they sort of hit that, right? They hit that where they gave you a hero shooter that was accessible. Anybody could play. But like if you weren't good at shooting, you could be good at defending. And then they hit that market, and that hit for a while again. And it's a matter of how much money is it making you day in, day out.
You have to understand with Activision, their whole modus operandi is margins. They're like, how much money can we make by spending as little as possible? And that's why apparently we're getting Modern Warfare 2's campaign with Modern Warfare 10 or whatever it is. It's cutting corners and making money without spending money. And that's why, like, Call of Duty basically reuses flipped assets every single year. People still buy it every single year.
Absolutely.
And Activision want that. Like low cost, high margin lifestyle for all of its games. Now, the problem with that is Blizzard. That's the antithesis of Blizzard.
And its fan base as well.
Yeah, exactly. Blizzard's all about polish. It's all about testing everything until it's done. That was their whole thing. Was like, it'll come out when it's ready. Like, they wouldn't announce. Back in the day, they wouldn't even announce when a WoW expansion was coming out until like a few weeks prior, because they would wait until it was genuinely ready. Whereas now it's like, Battle for Azeroth's, it's okay-ish. Let's just push out the door and create to the fan base, make Jez really sad.
So many people are sad.
King, I need you in this, man.
I have nothing.
Are you guys okay with that? Oh, are you guys okay with just more Diablo, more Warcraft?
But Sav, you gotta remember that Overwatch was never their baby. you have to remember, Project Titan was their baby. They
Right.
dumped it and
Canceled
bought Overwatch.
Mhm.
So that was never originally theirs. So they ended up just picking it up. So they were just like, oh, we just really like this, so we think it's going to be cool, and they bought it.
It's
So
interesting. This thing is interesting, man. I look at it and I'm
I
like,
want Bungie to get out of there.
yeah, well, they already started another IP.
Which is
well,
good, man.
I don't
Bungie's next,
know.
man.
Yeah,
Bungie's
but
next.
yeah,
They have been receiving. Remember how revered Bungie was before when
Mhm.
right before this happened, and they got over there to evil Activision. I didn't know how evil Activision was until they got.
They're maximum evil. They're the devil.
Maximum evil.
Read the book of Revelations, right? And Activision's in there. They're in the Bible.
They are probably the third length of the apocalypse, but I mean, they took my franchise, and I was so eager when it was coming because these are guys that made Halo, and I was like, yeah, they're gonna get over there, they're gonna do their thing. Like, when you get somebody a chance to do their thing, you see their real vision.
Right.
And we saw somewhat parts of their vision, but then it started breaking down. Like right before the game was released, story got revamped. They fired a whole bunch of people. And
the whole Marty thing, they did my boy Marty so dirty. Damn.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And then all types of bad things started happening. And then as I played the game, and I'm a Destiny nut, I seen the flaws. Stuff that made sense for them to do. It's a direct conflict.
Right.
Bungie's having a direct conflict with the boss, Activision. And they put in when they put in Tess Everett.
Oh yeah, that's what we knew. That's what we knew. When they got an NPC in the shop. Oh yeah, I know about that.
When it was all right, your ching time. Okay, y'all nice, but we need this bread.
Yes.
When it turned to that, and I was like, that's not Bungie's MO. Like Bungie's MO is totally different. And I just want Bungie away from these guys. That's all. I think they're in a bad relationship. You know how you got your friend, she's in a bad relationship or he's in a bad relationship, and you just try to point out, man, that's not a good relationship for you. You looking bad hanging out with these guys. Right? And you try to just like throw your little quips in there.
That's like Cognito playing Destiny.
Oh my god.
Well, on PC.
Listen, I understand the flaws of my relationship.
PC messers.
And I look past all that. I see the core things that are important to me.
You're so beautiful, baby.
Exactly. So beautiful.
Give me my guns.
Nobody gonna love you like I love you.
Rand, when he went over there, he was like, yo, you coming over? I said, hell to the no. I don't give a damn.
You're smart.
I'm playing on 380p. I put too much time into these guns and getting the hell to the no. I'm not doing the whisper on PC.
I do feel like you spend too much money on a PC not to use it too. So
No, well, my PC is for other stuff like the video editing and stuff like that. That's gonna happen. So really, to be honest with you, I got a laptop that's probably more powerful than a lot of people's PCs out there, and that'll be going with me to E3 to do work. My PC is for work.
I'm with you with that, King. I bought a PC last year, and it's got a 1080 in it. Got a i7 7700K.
Get them.
And I don't use it. I only use it for video editing.
For work.
Yeah, I don't use it for gaming. And it totally paid for itself.
Send it to me.
Send it to me.
What? Windows Central doesn't get
Rand is good.
I ain't gonna give me a pink gaming PC.
Bro.
Rand ain't looking in. He's not excited about that opportunity now.
Nah,
The
it's
PC's not working with it.
I started doing my reviews for games, uploading it in 4K, so I can render a video in 4K. Which takes like a 10-minute video and rendered at like 30 megabytes. Takes like half an hour on this PC. Pretty good.
Shout out to Mod. He said, "What a waste of PCs with you guys." That's right. Tell him, Mod. I'm out here playing Destiny. They out here doing video editing.
Listen, it's nice. I love the PC. I've been doing that PC stuff for so long, but I know the trap. It's a huge trap. And Cognito doesn't know the trap. I'm so happy for him right now. Right? When the trap hits him in the head, it's gonna hit him hard too. It's good because he's gonna go to play a game, and it's not gonna look like that fresh car. It's not gonna have that fresh car smell. And Sovereign knows. Me and Sovereign used to do
Driver issues.
Oh God.
Look, it's gotten better over the years, but it's still kind of the same. Like, because once you start seeing like little differences in things, and you become, I mean, you're a tech head, so you become nitpicky, and you're like, wait, why is this? Why can't I get this better? And then you start looking up like people's different configurations and what they turn on, what they turn off, and then you go down that rabbit hole, and that's a whole other.
People don't play games; they play hardware.
Yo, Rand,
true.
I got two 1080 TIs in here running in SLI or whatever, whatever their thing is. I think they changed it from SLI. I have it running in here right now. I can run godly games. I'm not coming down here to this basement to put on this headphones.
Your issue is the infrastructure, and I get it. I know we've out on a tangent on PC, but the thing what made it easier for me now is Discord. I think like Discord is like they're like almost like universal.
You know how I feel about Discord, right?
I know you hate it with a passion, but it's where it's at right now, and that's the only thing saving it. But enough about PC. We move on. I'm concerned with the Activision-Blizzard stuff. I think the Kings just, I don't know, man. His lineup ain't looking as dominant as it used to. I definitely see fine. So we shall see. Solve. Let's wrap this thing up with Mad Fox. You're gonna get mad in here.
See you guys later.
All right, later, PD.
Later, Pete.
He just jumped in. That is the ultimate level of selfishness. Petey,
I want to talk about what I want to talk about.
Extreme team selfish.
Blizzard.
So we traded in super selfish guy for these us. You even us gay guy.
Hey, what's wrong with you? Continue, Lord Saul. Let's get this bad boy. I don't.
Yeah, so apparently we have a new challenger in the realm of hardware, of console hardware. Slightly Mad Studios, Slightly Mad Studios, the developer of the I won't say highly acclaimed, well-regarded racing series Project Cars, have decided that apart from Project Cars 3, their next endeavor is going to be a game console. Aptly named the Mad Box. Mad Box. They said the console should be coming out within the next 3 years or so. They spec it out to be about as powerful as a pretty powerful PC at that time. So they're sort of I guess they have a time machine that tells them what it's gonna be, how powerful it's gonna be in 3 years time. They've already showed sort of concepts of what the console is going to look like. It looks kind of disgusting, but that's another thing. I want to know what you guys think of this. I mean, I'm of the mind that, hey, I will never begrudge anybody trying to go in and challenge the status quo and shake things up. That's how Sony got into the business. That's how Microsoft got into the business. That's how, even other failed endeavors like 3DO, they took their shot. You win or you lose, but you take your shot. And I think it's always good when somebody wants to kind of stir the pot and change things up. Right. I don't know what could come of this. It's still a long ways off. So I think it's interesting.
From what we know, so let's frame this. From what we know, so this guy, what is it, Ian Bell from Slightly Mad Studios?
Yeah, the CEO.
The vibe I'm hearing is he's claiming like they're supposed to have like a full engine to kind of develop games for free. So
so I guess the whole thing with the platform is that they feel that specifically they feel that exclusives are exclusionary. They don't want that. So they want to create a platform where they're not holding anybody that's partnered with them for putting games on their console to not putting their games on other consoles. So in addition to that, they plan to, before the console ships out, they do have some sort of proprietary sort of engine that will help, I guess, people scale their games across other platforms or all platforms that they plan to ship with the console. So it's sort of cool. Like they're doing sort of what Epic is doing with their storefront, where they're giving people the tools to sort of put games onto their platform. So that's a cool thing because they are a game developer. They have that expertise. And that way, that's another way to sort of engender people to your platform. Again, I don't know beyond that. He specifically, I know he got into a back and forth with people on Twitter about
specs.
claims, about specs and claims that he made about VR functionality. I guess he said something about, well, I've been told that 120 frames per second is very smooth for VR, meaning 60 frames per second per eye. And then people are saying, well, if you want really high end stuff, then you're gonna need more. You're gonna need about 180 frames per second with 90 frames per second per eye. So there was a back and forth, and he admitted that he doesn't have any sort of expertise in this. This is what he's being told. So I mean, and he's a funny dude because he never had a Twitter account personal until he announced the Mad Box, right? And one of the first things you see on the Twitter account is like him on a yacht chilling out. So he's like, so I'm wondering where all this funding money is going for the Mad Box. It's going in his pocket and whatnot.
Let's get Lord Rand on this.
Speculation.
Lord Rand, are we at that point now? Does Xbox have to change their moniker? I mean, they were the most powerful console, but we have the Mad Box.
Yeah, the Mad Box. I think the likelihood of this console coming out is slim to none, and Slim just left town. I honestly do not see this thing being. I've heard the Phantom's coming. The Phantom.
Yeah.
Remember
the Phantom.
We signed up for that, Sovereign. Remember that?
Yeah. We signed up for the Phantom.
And it's like they make Project Cars, and now they're gonna.
That's what I'm saying.
Now they're gonna all of a sudden they're gonna do a super powerful console.
That's the logical next step. You make a console.
Where are they getting the funding from this? Like,
Red, you don't feel that's the logical progression after Project Cars?
I don't know. It seems. I don't know. Like the render looks like the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Right?
It's nasty.
And now you know what's gonna happen? Jez is gonna get on here and be like, well, I've heard some interesting news that this is real and that it will be coming. And I'll be like, Jez, really?
Before you step up.
Listen, watch Jez say this. Jez,
tell us about
the Mad Box. What do you know about it? You got any inside info about how it's gonna be amazing?
No, nothing. I saw it and just rolled my eyes and then put it into the part of my brain where I instantly forget everything. So like, a guy, we've got a channel on Slack where we discuss, things we're going to cover during the day. And higher up in my company was like, can someone write about this? And like nobody wanted to write about it, and he was like, yeah, "Fine, I'll write about it." And he just wrote us a really scathing article about VR and like the technical stuff he got wrong and stuff like that. And I just like, it's just stupid. I can't run on Linux or something. It's down on arrival, man.
You are not confident. Go ahead, kid.
Listen, I'm an NEC head. Turbo graphics, PC engine, PC Duo, all of that. I missed that. I was the outcast when these dudes was playing Sega and Nintendo. I had that stuff, but nothing can topple my Turbo Duo. I've been looking for that Turbo Duo. If this mad system guy can be that guy, I'm all for it. I'm 100% in. I will jump in. 100. Hey, you need funding now? What's up? Because if you can get that feel, because remember, TurboGrafx said they was really 16-bit. Well, it really wasn't. They was like 2 8-bits together in conjunction. But it was blazing, and I'm just down for that feel. I want that lie, underpowered.
Your voice popping off on Twitter, King.
I think that's coming out party.
Like, you want a Mad Box? You're gonna be celebrating it. We should be proud of all our games. He said the Mad Box selfies we receive, we get free games for life. He said it's gonna be a 4K. The specs are incoming. We aren't using old kit. We're in talks now to get the very best available.
You know what he sounds like? He sounds like one of us. If we had the thought of bringing out a system, it's gonna be as powerful as the PC of that time.
He like, who he reminds me of, right? Trip Hawkins.
Oh yeah. Yo, don't front though. Stop that though. 3DO.
The 3DO, yeah. I mean, Trips. When Trip talked to you early on, you looked at him like he was God. Like he was, and then you got the product in your hand. It was something else. But whatever.
No. Okay, let's wait. 3DO was a pioneer for its time. 3DO definitely pushed us forward. It gave us that push forward. What we don't like about Trip Hawkins was the M2. Now he was positioning his wallet because he knew the downfall. If this system can come to the market, great. I'm down with it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna take my selfies for life, whatever they say.
You know damn well this system is in the bushes. Well, first of all, this
never
big
know.
man, listen,
Never know.
Listen, he sound lit on Twitter. I give him that. You know what I'm saying? But I can't take these. I'm with Rand. I cannot take these dudes serious until I see software. How are they going to get the reach to get this to the masses? That's the next one.
Who are we to know how much Project Cars sold? Who are we to know how much money he made over there? Maybe he made such a boatload of cash and then he invested it in Bitcoin. Maybe this dude really is so flush in cash that he gonna finance it himself. We don't know any of this stuff.
Kid, you better stop, man.
If he invested money in Bitcoin, he probably lost.
I'm kind of with King. Like I'm with King I'm with King in the sense that I want them. I want to see what happens. Whether they crash and burn is another story. I want to see it happen.
I brought worse systems, brother. I brought worse. I still got them too.
Listen, man.
Lord Rand, save me from all of this.
No, don't save him. He playing PC, Rand. Let him drown.
I mean, it would be interesting to see it come out. Like I'm with King on that. Like it'd be interesting, but like, come on. How do you go from making Project Cars 2 and then being like, by the way, guys, we're making a console? Where are they getting the money to R&D this stuff and then put it out? And
that's what I was saying. Like I said, he never had a Twitter account. He opens it the day that he announces the console, and the first thing you see is him on a big yacht popping bottles, women around him. I'm like, wait, hold up, where did this funding money?
It's lit.
Man, I gotta shout your boy out. Lord Russell Holly had a great article on this. I'm with Lord Russell Holly. I think this thing is nothing to be going mad about.
Oh, that's what I was talking about in chat.
Oh, that was Russell. Okay, okay.
Are you watching the podcast?
I won't say anything. I'm a fan. Nah, man, you guys are great.
Russell's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he wrote a fantastic article too on it. And it just, I just can't see it, man. And then he's talking 3 years from now.
Yeah, so that's another thing. So that console would, like, if you think about it, it's probably coming out against the mid-gen refreshes.
He's coming out in 2021. He's trying to get us hyped now for 2021. I'm just not there.
He ain't the only one doing it. Like, come on, man. Like, PlayStation and Microsoft just getting you hyped too. And they putting out stuff. Some of the stuff that they putting out, you like, yeah, but see, you know what it is? They got systems in your house. You're playing them. Let's remember when Microsoft said that we're gonna be releasing a system. You was like, well, get out of here, shut up. And they did it. Hey, bro, I want to see
from the make. So the intro line I was going to do like from the makers of Project Cars.
What?
How's the marketing gonna be like?
That's so lit. It's so lit. I don't care if he can get it out. We don't know his financial situation. Brother, man, like he was on a yacht. His picture was on a yacht. So we don't know.
All I say is this: like the landscape of gaming. If you look at what's happening with Epic, Discord, like on a serious note, the landscape is changing.
It is.
We have, like, honestly, things could look vastly different in 5 years. Anything could happen. Anything. If there is actual real funding for this, because you said it's not being crowdfunded. Anything is possible.
He rich. Let's say he rich and he crazy.
Like I said, whether it crashes and burns, whether we find out this guy is Ponzi scheming people, he ends up in jail in the next year. Like, whatever the case may be, I want it to play out. I want to see this drama play out to its finality, whatever it is.
I'm gonna let you finish this topic before you get out of here. Oh my god! Final note on the Mad Box, Lord.
It's like people say, I kind of morbidly curious to see if it actually comes out.
Proper word, morbidly curious. That's perfect.
And disruption competition is always great, you know. If it flops and like people say he goes to jail, then it'd be like, oh, on a future podcast, we'd be like, oh, remember that time, and it'd be a nice anecdote.
Oh my god, that sounds like a Soldier Boy situation.
Yeah, I'm telling you. See, there it is. When Soldier Boy told you, I'm coming out with consoles, you're like, yo, shut up. Shut it out.
Nintendo came and redirected his website to Nintendo.com.
Yeah, but
some
the
fool
Soldier Boy
bought it.
consoles
Somebody
were
got
like $40 he was selling for $400 though.
That's right. And he was making some bread.
Yeah, until Nintendo stepped in and took it all.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but you know what? It came out, and we all want to see it happen.
He was selling raspberry pies in a giant box.
Oh god.
Let's get this poll question to get out of here. New IOP poll. When compiling all of the latest rumors regarding Microsoft's next-gen approach with the Scarlett family of consoles, do you think this multifaceted console strategy will be too confusing for the casual gamer? The choices are A, yes, 2013 all over again. Microsoft has not learned their lesson with messaging. B, no, the Xbox One X and S prove gamers understand SKUs like cell phones. Or C, my Anaconda don't want none if it ain't got games. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the ILP poll when it goes up on Twitter. Lords of the Xbox 2, Randall, Thor, and Jez Corden. An absolute pleasure to have you in the realm of the Lords. Where can the fine people find you, and what do you have going on?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. LordCognito,
Thank you, sir.
King, Sovereign,
Addict,
and
go to work.
yeah, well, Attic, you know. less said about Attic, the better. You know?
Yes.
Thanks for having me on. I love being on the show. I love listening to you guys. Unfortunately, a little bit early for me, so I usually have to catch it on demand. But you know, you can check me out on YouTube, Randall Thor 19. All the relative links will be there. You know, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Nice.
And, me and Jez shall be returning to the realm of podcasting, hopefully sometime this week.
Nice.
Look
forward to it, man.
But then again, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't. We just did a podcast. Maybe we should just take another week off. Guys, you know?
Good for the week. Dude, absolute pleasure, man. Looking forward to the next video you got coming on. I'm hoping it'll be soon, man. It's always fantastic, high quality work. Lord Jez, man, what do you got going on, and where can the fine people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jez Corden, JZCorden, where I post loads of crap. So probably don't follow me on Twitter. Come to think of it. Other than that, I am writing articles, which are okay, I guess. You can read those if you want.
Of course.
Other than that, thanks for having me, guys. This podcast it's always a lot of fun.
Thank you, man.
You guys are hilarious.
Dude, I really appreciate both of you coming through. Thank you.
But, yeah.
Cool.
I play video games a lot. But,
You gotta end with the public service announcement. Play games.
Play video games a lot.
Dude, Sean, you guys, one of my favorite podcasts. Love the chemistry. Great combination. Always informative. Always hilarious. Keep doing what you two do. And again, thank you both for coming on together. An absolute honor, man. Love you guys big time. So, Lord Addict had to go. So, Lord Sov, where can the fine people find you in 2019? Hopefully online.
Hopefully you see.
He's been online. He's been online a lot.
I haven't been playing, but when I'm on, you'll see me.
The game that he has to finish with me, the game that I got still on my goddamn hard drive. But I'm just gonna say it again. I'm waiting for you, Saul.
No doubt, man.
We'll finish. We'll finish it in 2019. I promise.
No doubt. That's what you got going on. Where can the people find you, man?
Lord Sav IOP on Twitter and BX Sovereign on PSN and Xbox Live. A big shout out to Jez and Rand. You guys are hilarious. I love it. When Cox said you guys was leading the year off, I was like, oh man, I gotta be awake. Let's go. Hold on. No dragging your feet today.
We gotta set it off right with the best. Absolutely, man. No doubt. Lord King, the Mad Box Conqueror. Soon. What's going on, man? Where can people find you?
First, I would like to say thank you for Jez and Rand for coming through. like Sovereign said, when he saw the list, I saw the list. I was like, whoa. I said, this is it right here. This is how you start off a year, baby. Jez, thank you for calling me a fraud. I will definitely read that article. And he did it in such a beautiful, nice way that he was like, if you can go over there.
You can actually do it.
I did that already. I did that already.
Yeah, he was smooth with it too.
I love it.
Smooth. I like that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. All right, so you can catch me on Twitter at King David OTW, but also you can catch me at KOS is coming. I got one more stand to put up, shelving to put up, and I have to pick up
all these great statues in the background.
Bro, you see the dolly right there, right?
Yeah.
I have to pick up another table from IKEA. That's the presenting table. I have the Lazy Susans over there in the back. So it's gonna be very you're gonna love it. The high quality guys that I look forward to is Rand, Dealer, and Colt. So if my quality is not up to snuff, I will keep working until it gets there.
There you go.
Combat Talk with the King.
Yes.
We got Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner.
Woo!
That's coming up. That's going to be the first Combat Talk with the King this year.
Nice.
And it's going to be ridiculous because I am so into this fight coming up. And that's shout out to Al Heyman for giving us the best. And that's all I'm looking forward to this year, guys. Let's get started.
Speaking quickly of fight talk, the Lioness. Let's go. Yo, we didn't talk about that. Ooh, that UFC.
Well, you know what? Let me give a shout out to Meds, Jay Fonzarelli, Native, and Cognito. We were supposed to do that card, and it wasn't panning out how we were supposed to do it. We will pick another card to do a Combat Talk podcast, but I wanted to have that friend bar room feel when we're watching a fight, we're reacting in live, and you're seeing us when we're talking and we're communicating. I want a real serious podcast to deal with a real serious card.
Agreed. And we will do it, man. Shout out to Fonz. We're cooking up something.
Yes.
That
Fonz is that man.
Feel. Get that Luke Chase radio feel. He know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But yeah, man, we'll do that, man. Yo, again, here, man. Fantastic show. A lot of last chat was absolutely amazing. Thanks for the super chat, guys. This is our first super chats. Absolutely amazing. And again, salute for the 1,000 of you guys helping us out on that. Lord Kabatsu is going to get all the audio up on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. So shout out to him later. And Flashpoint with Ebontis is under construction. So we're going to debut the new name.
Two guys, one show.
No.
So wait, did you guys pick a name yet? Did you pick a name?
Yes, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. But it's not going to be that, and it's not going to come with the other stupid names. People come up.
That's awesome. Two guys, one ghost.
Somebody was like, two guys, one destiny. I'm like, no.
But see, the two guys keep
manifest destiny.
I'm telling you, man. Don't do the last word. That was
You ain't gonna like us, but yeah, shout out to all Ebontis, man. Yo, he's popping bottles right now. My brother, he just hit 30,000 subs on YouTube.
Wow, that's crazy.
So most recent stream, he's one of the best in the game. So hopefully his agent contact my agent so I can tell you the name when I'm allowed to tell it. And shout out to Petey who came through, obviously the mutant years. Selfish Petey only wants to talk about WoW all day, and he's the leader of our stream team. The man does a fantastic job, and I absolutely want to salute him. But yeah, that's all we got, man. Lords, everybody, if you ain't got anything else to say, we'll get everyone out of here, man. Everybody enjoy your Sunday, and peace.
Later.